Many of you are very talented, but if you really want to wow me today, you're going to have to show something extra. Little thing I've coined heart.
I think his mom, like, drank when she was pregnant or something.
Attaboy, JD. Hustle, hustle.
I believe in you, JD. Don't listen to those motherfuckers.
I know your heart's on the football field, but I need your head in history class, Mr. Vance.
Yes, Vance, yes.
That stupid freak will never make the team. He's a loser.
Fuck you, Gavin. You and your dad are both gay.
Damn it, Vance, I wish I had 100 of you. If only you could get those godforsaken test scores up.
If you ask a hot chick to prom, I'll give you a C because history smiles upon the bold.
Asking me for my permission to ask my daughter to prom is a really classy move.
Vance past history. Now let's go beat the shit out of the Soros High Goblins.
Yo, it's Vance. Me got baby face, me big boss man. Me like America, me got good plan. Mexico water, make Gulf US obey. Me make Zelensky say thanks to my face. Me got baby face, me got big cheer. Trump bad, Trump good, me no care. Me write big book, kill billies and stuff. Now me import and wear tie up tough. Me go Yale school, me learn big word. Now me forget everything me heard. Silicon people give me job, me take. Now me like Trump, me make no mistake. Yo, it's JD Advance. Me fight walk folk, me say never die. Me protect kids, me born liberal. Him, them, there. America simple, only two gender. Me face, me big boss man. Me like America, me got good plan. Mexico water, make Gulf US survey. Me make Zelensky say thanks to my face.
Too many gender for my agenda. Went on a bender, exec or the sender. Might take Panama just like na. Might take Gaza, pop then a plaza.
With this one majesty.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome in to CobraCast 199. Am I unmuted? All right. CobraCast 199. Happy to see all of you here on a Wednesday, or is it a Monday, or is it a Tuesday, or is it a Friday, or is it a Sunday? I don't fucking know what day it is anymore because all I do is stream. That's all I do. That's it. I don't do anything else. Like yesterday, I didn't stream because I had some stuff going on. But holy crap, man. Like, this is all I do. I have no life. I have absolutely no life whatsoever. Let's see here. But how's everybody doing? This is a number 2 stream of the day. Stop crying. This is a very difficult job, okay? It's a very difficult job. I have a low social battery. And all I do is argue with people on Twitter. Marmillion says pre-stream chat grift tax. Even if Jeremy never reads my super chats. What? Why would you say that? That's so mean. Thank you. Kate Banfield says pre-game grift tax. We like the sound of that. Let's see. Nas says, if being gay is a requirement, I support the new Iranian leadership of Ayatollah Germani Mage, IDOT of the 199. You know, I had somebody walk right into the IDOT meme earlier today because, of course, they did. So I made a tweet that really upset some people. And upon further review, I do have a kind of a change of position of sorts. So first of all, let me just show you. I tweeted this out. One Piece season 2 is absolutely incredible. I might prefer it over season 1. Now I got a lot of backlash over this. A lot of people are really upset with me. And they're saying, Jeremy, I can't believe you are supporting this woke piece of garbage with all these race swaps. How dare you do that? And I have now changed my position on this. I have changed my position. Upon further review, hearing all the complaints and being told that I am paid off by Netflix and all of that, I would like to announce that I like it even more now. I like it even more. In fact, I'm going to promote it even more because fuck you. That is my answer right there. I apologize for absolutely nothing. And I fucking love this entire series. It is amazing. Now, I did have to straighten out a few things right here. So right here, One Piece, like I said, One Piece season 2 is absolutely incredible. I might prefer it over season 1. Somebody says, you only like it because you never read the manga or seen the anime. Now, that's very reasonable. That's very reasonable. Because I don't know the source material. And clearly there are some changes to the source material that are bothering a lot of fans. Totally understand that. However, this person said it's because he got a fat check from Netflix. Look at there. I got paid from Netflix to like One Piece. Well, damn. Now, I informed this person of something they were very not ready for, apparently. And I said, Israel pays better than Netflix, just saying. So I had to let them know, like, Israel definitely pays better than Netflix. From my experience, Israel pays much better. Okay. So I'm not really worried about Netflix and their little bitty checks because Israel pays much better. And then, did they delete it? Oh, they deleted it. So they said something and they were like, do you know from experience? So then I responded with this right here. Okay. Are they like deleting shit right now in real time because I'm doing this? Holy shit. So let me see. So we've got other responses. This person blocked me. Spoilers, they blocked me. Okay. So then they said, blah, 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 blah. In any case, they can't bitch about race swaps in Hollywood and then praise this shit. So I responded. And I said, I have said multiple times that everyone complaining about the race swaps because they are knowledgeable of the source material, unlike me, are 100% justified and should be respected. But you just sound like an emotionally broken woman. I don't care how upset you are about any of this. Typical emotionally broken loser who can't do any research before making accusations. I have been standing up for people like you that were complaining about this. Now I'm just going to laugh at you. Damn it. They are deleting every fucking thing. There it is. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. To blah, 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 blah. Okay. So they called me an idiot right here. Okay. They called me an idiot and they said, just keep consuming the slop. And I said, I will. What are you going to do about it? Well, they called me an idiot. And then I responded with right here. Me, nothing. However, you, aren't really beating the idiot allegations. I'm not beating the idiot accusations or the allegations, you say? Well. I responded with IDOT, but this person then responded with, I'm pretty sure I spelled it correctly, but I can't find it because they got mad at me and blocked me. So I am blocked. So I was having fun. Apparently they got mad because I'm getting paid by Israel. So it is what it is. But no, I'm not being paid by Netflix. I am being paid by Israel. So I hope Mossad's not watching right now. I probably shouldn't say this, but in my contract with Israel, I am not allowed to have a contract with Netflix, not because there's an issue with Netflix. It's because after we agreed to it, then they got mad at me because I called Netanyahu Netflix Yahoo. Okay. So then they came to me and they were like, this is a problem. The fact that you're calling our leader Netflix Yahoo is a fucking problem. And I was like, it's just a meme. It's just a joke. And they were like, sign this or you're not getting paid by us anymore. So I was like, oh, my bad. So anyway, that's the backstory. It's a messy situation, but we'll work it all out. But ultimately, that's why. Don't mess up the contract. I know I'm trying not to. All right. JC, is it Jay Crilly says, what is this? Is this something what is this? Are you guys trying to get me to say something? I have no idea what this is about. Is this a meme I'm not aware of? I have no idea what this means. So what is this? You got a G&G hat on though. So what? I don't know what the hell this is. Let me see. That's not his real name. Israel. Oh, this is the dude, right? Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. I know who you're talking about now. Didn't he get elected for a local office or something like that? Wasn't there like was it a sheriff's position or something like that? Is this the guy? Am I correct about that? Oh, that was a different dude. Okay. Well, either way, both very, very good people, and respect to both of them. Oh, this is from the 80s. Okay, my bad. I thought it was like a Gary from Nerdrotic joke or something. Bumblebee says, when does a man die? Did you like Chopper's backstory? Loved everything with Chopper in One Piece live action. Yes. There is nothing about season 2 I don't like. I fucking loved everything about it. And yeah, look, we're not going to make this all about entertainment, so we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. But in terms of One Piece, yes, there are, again, I would have never known about any of the race swaps based on the story they're telling within the season. But obviously you see the complaints and then you see, okay, they've done like quite a few race swaps. All I can say is that within the story they're telling, there's nothing, if you don't have prior knowledge of it, there's nothing that is woke. There's no identity politics from a storytelling standpoint. Okay. But I get it. Fans should be upset with this, and they are justified in being upset by this 100%. So I do get it. All right. So, anyway, I'll probably cover that more on Geeks and Gamers, but I love everything about One Piece Season 2. I think it's fucking fantastic. Brighton says, a pre-stream clown tax. Hail the 199. Packy Proton says, super chat fun. Say it 4 times faster. I am not saying that. Not doing it. So, Captain JPS says, Jeremy's no life tax. The Glory of Romans Forever says, all you do is stream. Why aren't you getting any better at it? Hail the 199. I mean, that is true. Let's see. Jeremy is gay says, Jeremy likes the woke version of One Piece and also likes the woke version of Dune. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to call those things woke, then you're going to lose all credibility to call anything woke. So, but yeah, I do like One Piece and I like both Dune movies. However, I like the first one more. Flag Ninja says, I'm so stoked. Somehow a buddy of mine got tickets for advanced screening of Project Hail Mary. So I'm going to see it in a couple of hours. I'm looking forward to Project Hail Mary. It looks fantastic. Word of mouth has been phenomenal for it. So I'm hoping it's as good as everybody says it is. Cyber Ice says, happy Austin 316 day. Give me a Hail 199. Yeah. Hail 199. Yeah. Let's freaking go. Chad says, IDOT tax. Delta Dragon says, season 2 isn't perfect, but it's still pretty good. Give the anime a shot. If you're interested, it's just as good, if not better. I am 100% interested in the One Piece anime now, which is exactly what any live adaptation should do. It should make you interested in wanting to see the source material, and that is what the live action has done. Okay, we have to talk about this because Piers Morgan had some people on, and look at the title of this right here. MAGA is dead. That is the title. MAGA is dead. Did you know MAGA was dead, everybody? I was not aware of this, but apparently MAGA is dead. It's over. Might as well pack it up, everybody. MAGA is dead. Let's hear what they have to say about this.
MAGA is dead. It is deader than dead, and Americans are furious. I've been a loyal supporter of the president for almost 20 years. I consider him a dear friend, and I will tell you right now, I do not recognize our president.
This is...
What?
The riskiest thing Trump has ever done in politics, bar none. The only reason that I'm not freaking out now, I say I'm not freaking out until week 6. He said it would take 5 weeks. I'm going to freak out on week 6. For now, I say let him cook.
I'm announcing right now on your platform another invitation for Ben Shapiro to debate me. You gave him space. You platformed his views. You gave him time. And all of that was not enough for him.
Might be tempted for a bit of a transfer to the Uncensored.
Listen, man, I'm going to be honest with you. I am blown away that President Trump has to deal with all the shit he's dealing with right now. I don't know how he does it. I don't know how he deals with this. I really don't. Like all of the stuff that's going on, all of the people that are constantly trying to manipulate and stab him in the back and create narratives. It really is something else to witness, man. It really is, because these people are crazy. They are absolutely crazy. Hang on, I had to adjust that really quick. So between people that are claiming they've known him for 20 years and consider him a dear friend, between all of the stuff with these mainstream media personalities that really built their following off of, MAGA essentially, and now they're turning on him from that perspective. It's fucking crazy the amount of stuff that this man is dealing with. And look, I like Michael Knowles. Is this the riskiest thing Trump has ever done in politics? I feel like everything Trump does is the riskiest thing that he's done in politics. Every time Trump does anything, the world implodes. The meltdowns happen. Everyone says MAGA is dead. Everyone says Trump is done. Everyone freaks out every fucking time he does anything. Now, I think this is a very risky move for sure. It's absolutely a risky move. But context is important. Every time Trump does anything, the freakouts happen.
Censored part. Do you fancy joining us? Politics should not be the first concern when it comes to matters of war, but the potential consequences for President Trump are severe. The midterm elections were already looking pretty bleak before a single shot was fired. Now voters are glued to their screens, watching the US spend $1 billion per day on a war they mostly oppose at a time when the state of the economy is their foremost priority. A president who returned to the White House with such energy and optimism could well leave it as a lame duck, and he may well be impeached again. It's one of many reasons why some of Trump's most fervent supporters are so openly upset that he's supposedly reneged on his...
Like who? Like Megyn Kelly is not one of his biggest supporters. Tucker Carlson, Shapiro now. I know Shapiro's on the pro-Trump side because of Israel, but like, who are we talking about that some of the most, like some of his most dedicated supporters? This is bullshit. That's a bullshit narrative. That's a bullshit narrative.
Peace ticket pledge, and no matter where you stand on the conservative media food fight, the shifting balance of power is objectively remarkable. Senator Lindsey Graham and commentator Mark Levin, both former never Trumpers who are currently declaring a holy war, are back in.
Yeah, well, why is it when you're talking about people that are pro-Trump now, it's important to qualify that they are former never Trumpers, but you're not going to qualify that all the people that you're claiming are his biggest supporters were also never Trumpers? Why don't you give that qualification? Because you're trying to build a narrative that Trump is losing his most dedicated supporters. That's a fucking lie, okay? That's a fucking lie, and you're building a false narrative right there off rip.
And Kelly, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Tucker Carlson, among others, are frozen out. The president wrote a lengthy and passionate tribute to Levine this weekend after Megyn Kelly said that Levine's inflammatory rhetoric is the result of what she called his micro penis. Marjorie Taylor Greene has just responded by saying that MAGA has been destroyed by micro penis Mark Levine. And Tucker Carlson, who of course campaigned.
So Megyn Kelly and Marjorie Taylor Greene are calling Mark Levin micro penis. Gamers won. Gamers have won. We're back. Gamers, now we are basically having Xbox Live lobby chat in the world of mainstream politics now.
For Trump and was beloved by the administration, now suspects the same administration is trying to lock him up.
So the other day I found out that the CIA is preparing some kind of criminal referral against me, a crime report to the Department of Justice on the basis of a supposed crime I committed. What's that crime? Well, talking to people in Iran before the war. They read my texts. So the crime under consideration apparently would be the Foreign Agent Act or something like that, acting as an agent of a foreign power. And I don't expect this to go anywhere. I'm not too worried about an actual criminal case against me for a bunch of reasons. One, I'm not an agent of a foreign power, unlike a lot of people.
Hey, thanks, Tucker. Okay, well, hey, guys, he said he's not an agent, so he's not. What's the big deal? What's the big deal? So next time the next time we have a concern about someone, we should just ask. And if they just say, well, no, I didn't commit that crime, you're like, oh, okay. Have a good day. See you later. Seems pretty easy, right?
Commenting on U.S. politics and global affairs, I have only one loyalty, and that's the United States, and have never acted against it.
Well, this morning, an Axios reporter said that there is no CIA investigation into Tucker Carlson, but that hasn't stopped the court of social media convicting him of treason with Attorney General Laura.
No. Wait. Piers, hang on. Let's repeat this one more time. Why is Piers just moving past this?
I have only one
Listen
loyalty,
to
and
what
that's the United
Piers
States,
says.
and have never acted against it.
Well, this morning, an Axios reporter said that there is no CIA investigation into Tucker Carlson, but that hasn't stopped the court of social media.
So why aren't we asking, why is Tucker Carlson claiming this? Why is it that the top story? Why is Tucker Carlson running with this story if there is no investigation? That is the fucking story right there. And he's just like, moves past it. This is absolutely insane, dude.
Media convicting him of treason with Attorney General Laura Loomer suggesting he could face the death penalty. Meanwhile, tensions over the religious pretext.
So he's too busy wanting to take a sarcastic shot at Laura Loomer, calling her the Attorney General, because, of course, she's always, in Trump's ear and everything like that. So he's more interested in that than to question a person that you just had on your show, Piers Morgan. Literally, you just had Tucker Carlson on your show like 2 days ago. And you're not even worried about finding out why he claimed something that the State Department said didn't happen. And you're not worried about going, hey, Tucker, you want to give us some more information on this? So the State Department is saying that this never happened, but you uploaded a video that went viral that claimed that you were getting a criminal referral. Can you explain what's going on here, Tucker? Because if you remember, Tucker, about a month ago, there was a pretty big report that you were detained in Israel. And then we got video of that countered that. Now, apparently, and I saw a comment, somebody said that Tucker has addressed this and walked it back. I did not hear Tucker address it, but he did walk it back. Maybe those are the questions we need to start asking, Piers. But no. Let's build this narrative that Trump supporters are abandoning Trump.
For supporting Israel in the war continue to boil over, as do the accusations of anti-Semitism leveled at those who oppose it. Many normal people doubtless find all this exhausting. The bad news is that, much like the war itself as it stands, there's no end seemingly in sight. We've got an excellent panel patiently standing by, but we begin today with Carrie Prejean.
Hang on. So we got this comment right here who says, hang on. Jeremy won't ever say Christ is king. First of all, okay, it's won't, not want. So I know you're emotional, but slow down there, buddy, okay? It's Jeremy won't ever say Christ is king, not want. Jeremy want. What are you, from the hood? Shit. Jeremy won't ever say Christ is king. Shit. I mean, what the fuck are you doing? Calm down, type, don't be so emotional, and we can go back to it, okay?
Boller, the former Miss California, and Trump ally who was just ousted from the Religious Liberty Commission. Well, welcome to you, Carrie. I think it's your first time on Uncensored, so I welcome you to the show. What is your view about this? Because I've known Donald Trump a long time, and I'm struggling to not see this attack on Iran as potentially the biggest miscalculation of either of his presidencies, simply because it is going on already much longer than he indicated it would, and there's no apparent easy off-ramp for him now. And it's causing a lot of damage economically, politically. You know, militarily, America is superior, but even there, they're sustaining losses. And there are many people, even in the most fervent MAGA part of his support.
Okay, see, good. All right, here. You typed in the chat and you said Christ is king. You didn't say Christ our king. You said Christ is king. You're learning how to type. I'm proud of you, okay? You're learning how to type. Round of applause for Virtual Reality Fitness 283. Can we get a Christ is king in the chat, since Virtual Reality Fitness learned or leered how to type without being emotional, okay? Can we get Christ is king in the chat as a celebration?
What do you say? Look, this guy campaigned on no more involvement in foreign wars, particularly in the Middle East. What is he doing? Staking everything on the biggest war imaginable in the Middle East.
Now, before she starts, I want everybody to understand she actually makes some really good points. Okay, she makes some really good points. So just listen right here. This is the best point she made, and everything. This is the best she's ever sounded. Here she goes. Yeah. I tend to agree. This is typically how women sound best. Yeah. No, you're right. You are correct. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. Now let's back it up and let her actually talk. But yes, that's how she sounded best just then. So.
Thank you so much for having me, Piers. I've been a loyal supporter of the president for almost 20 years. This goes back to when I was 21 years old and I was Miss California at the Miss USA pageant. And I've known him. I consider him a dear friend. And I will tell you right now, I do not recognize our president. I think that we are an occupied nation.
I've been a friend of his for 20 years, a close friend of his for 20 years. So close that I'm going to go on a major network show and I'm going to denounce him. Wow. The I know Trump grift, but I'm going to denounce Trump. This is the new grift right here. Okay. This is it.
I think that a foreign country has occupied president.
Listen to this.
I
Listen to
consider him
this.
a dear friend, and I will.
Now, notice how she doesn't, because again, this is about emotional manipulation. Okay. So notice that she doesn't say Israel at first, because they know that there's a lot of memes on the anti-Israel crowd. So instead of her saying Israel, she just says, we know that a foreign country is involved. And it's meant to go, who's the foreign country? Oh my gosh, what is this? Okay. Ooh. That way that they can emotionally manipulate you. Okay.
I'll tell you right now, I do not recognize our president. I think that we are an occupied nation. I think that a foreign country has occupied our government.
Ooh.
And we are seeing now that this president of the United
What foreign country? Oh my gosh, who could it be?
States of America is being influenced by a foreign government. And MAGA, let me tell you right now, MAGA is dead. It is deader than dead, and Americans are furious. We do not recognize President Donald J. Trump anymore.
So obviously the foreign government you're talking about is Israel. And Marco Rubio.
You're kidding me. I was on the edge of my seat going, who is this foreign country that is controlling the president? Oh my gosh. Wow. And I had no idea it was Israel. This is breaking news, everyone.
Himself said before he then did a complete reverse ferret on it, as we would call it over here in England. He said that the reason America preemptively attacked Iran was because Israel, he didn't name it, but it was obvious who he was talking about, had indicated they were going to launch an attack and that the Iranians may respond against American interests, which seemed a very convoluted reason for American forces to be committed. And they then, under huge blowback, tried to pretend he hadn't said it. But we all heard what came out of his mouth. And then we heard Antony Blinken, one of his predecessors, say that Netanyahu had tried to persuade both Obama and Biden to do the same thing by saying, I'm about to attack Iran. And when they said no, he then didn't attack Iran. And
so we're to believe that Netanyahu has manipulated Trump, but he couldn't manipulate Obama and Biden. That's the story we're going with now. Okay.
So, many people share your misgivings about this. Notwithstanding that, the polling still shows pretty strong support amongst the MAGA base for Trump and this attack. So how do you explain that?
No, I do not believe that one bit. I talk to MAGA people all day long, every day.
Who the fuck do you talk to? Who? What MAGA people are you talking to?
And the everyday average American is absolutely against this war. And
so this chick, Miss California, is talking to everyday Americans. We're supposed to believe that this chick is going out. She's just going out on a Sunday when a bunch of dudes are in a bar drinking beer and just having good old conversations with them about how they feel about Trump. She's just out. She's just out talking to normal Americans, everyone. I'm just out talking to more normal people, everyday people.
I know that the only reason why we are even in Iran right now is because of Israel. We see Benjamin Netanyahu coming to our country more than any other foreign government, any other foreign nation. He's been here almost 8 times.
I actually do agree with that. I don't like the fact that he's been here like he's come here a lot, actually. So I don't disagree with her point there. Like in isolation, that point is a concern, but then she loses all credibility when she whines about all this other shit. He comes here way too much.
This is embarrassing. We are the United States of America. Why are we allowing a foreign country to occupy our government? And now we see I was removed from a religious liberty commission because I dared to speak out against Israel. It's no longer a conspiracy, Piers. What Israel wants, Israel gets. And we're witnessing that. And I'm telling you right now, MAGA is dead. And we will not vote for one more politician who lies to us and says, oh, we're going to drain the swamp and we're going to not get involved in foreign wars. Trump has betrayed our country and he has betrayed MAGA. And people.
Okay, now, again, she started out by saying she's been a close friend of President Trump for 20 years. And now she's saying that Trump has abandoned the United States of America.
People are livid.
I mean, what is fascinating is to see how split the conservative right is.
It's not
now in
split
America in a way I
all.
never imagined possible. You know, I remember you on the Miss California thing.
It's not split at all, Piers. Who is split? Who is split? I need to know. Tell me who.
It was a story at the time, and I remember all that going. And I was actually at the time. I was a judge on America's Got Talent. I'd just been competing on Donald Trump's inaugural Celebrity Apprentice show. I won it. That's when I got to know him. So, you know, I remember all that period. And what is fascinating, if you go back to 2008-9, the idea that people like Megyn Kelly, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Tucker Carlson, you and others would be so against what Trump, a Republican.
Who is this chick? What are we're surprised at this woman that nobody's ever heard of until now. When she bashes Trump, we're surprised that who the hell is she? And no, I'm not surprised that Tucker Carlson, who once said, I hate Donald Trump in a text message when he was still at Fox News. I'm not surprised that Tucker is now anti-Trump. Am I surprised that Megyn Kelly, when she was at Fox News, she has that viral moment of the Rosie O'Donnell moment? We're surprised Megyn Kelly is anti-Trump now? What are we talking about?
President is doing would have been unthinkable. How do you think it's come to this?
Well, we witnessed what happened from the very beginning. We saw that Marjorie Taylor Greene was called a traitor by the president. We're seeing never Trumpers, Piers, never Trumpers like Lindsey Graham and Ted Cruz and Mark Levin. I mean, these are never Trumpers who were not by his side back in 2016.
Neither was Tucker and neither was Megyn Kelly. But we're not going to bring that up. We're not going to bring that up.
And now he's siding with these people and calling true MAGA supporters traitors. He's, but what you realize is that the most free people are Megyn Kelly, Tucker Carlson, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Candace Owens, all fired from the mainstream media, all fired from either the president or mainstream media. And now we're seeing that they're the most free. They're not owned by big corporations, big politicians, big donors. And so we're free and we're speaking out. And it's important that everybody wakes up and realizes that this country is not a free country any longer. It's very, very sad.
And what is fascinating is watching people like...
It's not a free country, yet you are literally sitting here speaking out against a man that you claim you have known personally for 20 years, who happens to be the president of the United States, and you are speaking out directly about him, calling him a traitor on a major show. But we're not free, apparently.
Like Ben Shapiro, even coming after people like me, I've always got on pretty well with him. He's come on my show a lot. I've been on his a lot. And it only began, his attacks on me, as a consequence of me becoming more critical of the Israeli government, not of Israel as a country, not of Israeli people, not of Jewish people, but actually direct criticism specifically laid out against some of the actions of the Israeli government, which I believe is being overrun by extremely hard-line, far-right characters like Smotrich and Ben-Gvir, who have a very unhealthy influence over Netanyahu because he owes the fact that he's back in charge to them. And I think this has been a very, very unfortunate chain of events, which has now led to where we are. But this idea, and you've talked about this quite a lot, including with Tucker, I think, the other day, which is that any criticism of the Israeli government is now framed by people like Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin and others as anti-Semitism, that therefore it means you must hate Jewish people. And I find that just A, ridiculous, and B, actually really offensive, and C, it totally devalues the word anti-Semitism and what it actually means and those who perpetrate it.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Piers. And you're witnessing.
I just don't care about any of the labeling and all that garbage. Somebody said right here, hang on. Alex Jones called out both Megyn Kelly and Piers Morgan. When did this happen? When did this happen? Like today? Very curious about that. So if you got more information, let me know, because I'm curious.
It firsthand. You're being called now an anti-Semite. And you know what? I think that it's getting a little old. You know, I witnessed this back in 2009 when I stood up for traditional marriage. I was called a homophobe. I was called a bigot, a hateful person, simply because I'm just upholding my Christian values. And so I think the name calling isn't going to work. But you're exactly right. This is what they do. And I call them Zionist thugs because this is exactly who they are and what they are. These are thugs that try to put you in this box and they lock you in and they shut you up and they cancel you from society and they shun you. They humiliate you. They backstab you, and then they expect everybody else to do the same.
Just curious, like who specifically has been like canceled by the pro-Israel crowd? Like who's been canceled specifically for that? I'm waiting for the chat. You're probably like Nick Fuentes or Owen Benjamin or some shit like that. Like who? Tucker? You're saying Tucker Carlson has been canceled? By who? Who canceled Tucker? Fox News? Well, Fox News canceled Bill O'Reilly then too. Was it because of the Jews that Bill O'Reilly got fired? Like, the fuck are you talking about, Tucker? Like, again, my question is, if this is in fact the case, why does Candace Owens still have a YouTube channel? Like, why? Candace Owens is literally pushing the craziest shit I've ever heard in front of a bigger audience than Fuentes ever had. And probably more live viewers than Alex Jones ever had. Like, she's got 200,000-300,000 fucking people watching her just annihilate Israel and make up all of these crazy stories. Tyler Oliveria had his Patreon closed after his video on the Jews in New Jersey. And magically he had a website to go right when that happened. Pretty interesting timing, don't you think? He just had a fully functional website just ready to go at a moment's notice when he got canceled. Man, that's good timing. It's just a coincidence that he had this fully functional website ready to go. Just had it ready to go. And he's still monetized on YouTube. Man. That's interesting. So he's still monetized on YouTube. Good Lord, people are stupid. They really are.
And that's what Zionist thugs do. And this has nothing to do with Jew hatred. I am speaking out because I witnessed a genocide in Gaza. I could not deny my eyes. I am a Christian. I am a mother. And I was witnessing a starvation and a genocide, a real Holocaust before our very eyes. And they wanted me to deny that. And I refused to. And they want to call me an anti-Semite simply because I'm a Christian. And that's where this is going, Piers. Pretty soon, Christianity will be anti-Semitic. And that.
Another beauty pageant woman who suddenly, I'm Christian now. Christian is a new grift. Sadly, here we are. The online world, it's all about, I'm a Christian. Support me, guys. I'm a Christian. You're a Christian while you're sitting here calling the president of the United States, who has done more for Christianity than any president in our lifetime. You're sitting there calling that president, who you claim you know, a traitor to his country. Okay.
That is dangerous, and I reject that.
Is it? I mean, just to play devil's advocate with you here, we're both Catholics, and I think I'm right in saying that you do not support the concept of Zionism. You don't agree with it. You think it's wrong. And you do that based on your Catholicism. Now, I'm a Catholic, and I don't share that view because it really depends what interpretation you want to put on the word Zionism and being a Zionist and what it means. If you talk to a lot of Jewish people, a lot of Israelis, they'll say it means you believe in the concept of an Israeli.
Is this a Zionist channel now? Somebody in the chat said. I'm curious. How long have you been watching? First of all, let's just, did you just start watching? Okay. Because I'm going to be clear, man. There is no, and again, I don't understand where this all comes from. There is zero evidence that I have anything to do with Israel on this channel. There is zero evidence. I have never shown any support for them. I have never had anything on this channel that has ever shown any support for Israel. I am so tired of people accusing me of this. There is nothing to support this. So I don't know where people are getting this from, but clearly we're dealing with a bunch of retards, okay? Clearly. So please stop with the accusations, baseless accusations, okay? Thank you. I really appreciate that.
State. And the disagreement comes when you get perhaps more radical Zionists whose interpretation of what the state of Israel should be geographically is massively bigger than perhaps more moderate Zionists. So what is your intrinsic problem based on your own religion with the idea of Zionism?
Yeah, I think it's a political ideology that exploits theology. I mean, we have to talk about the theological aspect of Zionism. So as a Catholic, this is what I said on stage. I do not believe 1948 Israel is a biblical prophecy fulfillment. Most Christian Zionists in this country, like Ted Cruz.
She 100% has talking points. That's what she has. She has direct and specific talking points. She presents to me as someone that would never want to have a conversation with like, and again, I think internet debating is pretty gay unless you're memeing on it or whatever. But like, like the internet blood sports and all that shit's funny. But, I feel like she's just got a preset talking points. I really feel like that's what she's doing here. She does not seem to be authentic in anything she's saying. She seems to be reading off notes.
And Pete Hegseth and Marco Rubio and all these other Zionist thugs, supremacists, they want me as a Catholic to reject the Catholic Church's teaching of 2,000 years and reject the fact that we do not believe that that is a biblical prophecy fulfillment. 1948 Israel, atheist Israel that was established in 48. They want us.
Funny how Piers is not calling her names like he does other guests. It is interesting, isn't it? It's very interesting how Piers is not pushing back on anything she is saying. The accusations and all of that is insane.
To believe that and reject and deny our Catholic faith. And I refuse to do that. And so I think it's a political ideology that exploits a theology. And you know what? I'm not being attacked by Jews. I'm not being attacked by Muslims. I'm being attacked by Christian Zionists. Because they're mad that I'm daring to.
How do you know who you're being attacked? Welcome to the fucking internet. Everybody attacks you over every fucking thing. Laugh at it and meme on it, all right? Everybody attacks you over every fucking thing. It doesn't matter what you say. I literally am getting crushed right now because I said I like One Piece Season 2. All right, I've spent the majority of my internet life hating every fucking thing that's come out. All right, here I am, I like something, and now I'm getting another group of people telling me I'm a fucking paid shill. Welcome to the fucking internet. Laugh at it. Don't take it too seriously, because if you do, it's going to drive you fucking crazy. The fact that she claims she knows, I know the specific demographic that is hating on me. No, the fuck you don't. Just like you don't talk to normal everyday Americans.
Expose the fact
if a normal everyday American comes up to this woman, she's going to call security immediately. Like, seriously. She is going to call security immediately if a normal American walks up to her. And by the way, hang on, what's this chick's name? Carrie, let's see. Okay. Let's see here. All right. Let's see here. Look up some images of her. Okay. All right. So this is her right here, okay? This is her. If a normal everyday American man walks up to this chick, this motherfucker ain't talking to her about his fucking politics. All right? He ain't coming up going, Hi, Carrie. I'd like to talk to you about MAGA. I'd like to talk to you about unhappy I am with the Trump administration. Do you know what he's going to say? He's going to make a very, very direct remark about your looks. That's what he's going to do. And what you're going to do is you're going to play the feminist card all of a sudden, and you're going to claim that it's sexism. Motherfuckers ain't coming up to you talking about no fucking political opinions. Shut the fuck up. I talk to everyday Americans about their political opinions, and they're very frustrated with the Trump administration. Get the fuck out of here.
That, wait a second. If 1948 Israel isn't biblical Israel, then we don't have to bless it in order to be blessed. We don't have to support it in order to be, blessed, according to Ted Cruz. Those who bless Israel will be blessed. Well, what Israel are you talking about? Because for 2,000 years, the Catholic Church has taught that we are the new Israel, that we have fulfilled, that we are the new fulfillment.
Dude, Piers is not pushing back on anything she's saying. He has not pushed back a bit. He hasn't interrupted her. He hasn't checked her. He hasn't said anything to her. Not one thing.
And so we believe that we are the spiritual Semites. And so if you believe that, I don't know what Ted Cruz thinks about that. Obviously, he's upset because I don't believe that 1948 Israel is a biblical prophecy fulfillment. And so once you do that, their heretical teaching gets exposed for exactly what it is. It's heresy. And we have to start calling it that.
Well, Carrie Prejean Boller, I appreciate you coming on Uncensored. We've got a panel which I'm sure, at least some of them I know, will react, I'm sure, quite forcefully to what you just said. But I appreciate you coming on. Thank you very much.
Why does she get a solo spot with him and she's not part of a panel? Why would she not be on the panel? Why does she? Who are you to get a solo spot with Piers? With zero pushback, by the way. Zero. Like, I'm not sure I've ever seen Piers. And again, I don't watch Piers consistently, but like Piers' show is known for him challenging and pushing back on people. He didn't push back at all. Piers saw those pictures. That's why, Jeremy. Okay, well, I respect that. JMNZZ450 says, ever since Lauren Southern's fake ass started saying MAGA is dead, everyone who says it have one thing in common. They say right after they realize MAGA won't move in the direction they say it should, they realize they ain't the main character. 1000%. And I'm not going to pretend to know a lot about Lauren Southern. I know the name, and I know she was a big MAGA influencer from a while back. I know that she basically, just like most of these prominent conservative women, basically wore out her welcome, because what happens is these women that are good-looking women get into the movement. They get taken super seriously. Why? Not because anybody gives a shit about their opinions, because they're attractive and all these dudes want to sleep with them. There you have it. Okay. So that's why all these attractive women get taken seriously immediately in conservative movement, because, oh, wow, no pretty girl. That's okay. Maybe I got a shot, And again, that's not isolated to, MAGA or conservatives. That's isolated to men in general. Okay. Men have this idea that if a woman sends them a fucking friend request on Facebook, the first thought is she hot? Okay. She's pretty hot. Okay. Maybe she's DTF. I think she's interested. Okay. That's how men think. That's just how it is. And so you get a good looking woman, they show up in the MAGA movement, and all the men are going to be like, hey, you want to come on my show? You want to? That's just how this shit works. Okay. And so eventually somebody like Lauren Southern gets elevated, and then, she gets here's the death knell for the women in the movements. They come into the movement, they talk. Most of them are fucking wrong about every fucking thing. But if they're hot, hey, no big deal. We'll just continue to let them run their fucking mouth because maybe I got a shot. And then they get a serious boyfriend. Boom, boom. And you're like, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Oh, they got married. Get that bitch out. Find a new one. Roll the next one in. Welcome to Politics 101. There you have it right there. So that's pretty much it. That's how it works.
Thank you.
Well, joining me on the panel is Michael Knowles, host of the Daily Wire's Michael Knowles Show, historian and political scientist, Professor Roy Casagrande, the George Conway, the former Republican now running for Congress as a Democrat in New York, and the commentator with PragerU, Shabbos Kestenbaum. Welcome to all of you. Michael Knowles, you seem like a perfect person to respond to what you've just heard from Carrie Prejean Boller. What would you say to her?
Well, there was so much to respond to, but I think the good point that she makes is that it's true. The church has never insisted upon Christian Zionism as a religious belief, the idea that there must be a Jewish...
I do think it's... As soon as old boy here on the far end... the chat, like small hat guy.
Nation in the Holy Land as a matter of biblical prophecy. That is a Protestant view, and it's actually a minority Protestant view at that comes from the 19th century, but Catholics don't believe that. That's totally true. However, it would be taking the argument too far to say that Catholics cannot support the state of Israel. Because, probably most clearly in recent years, St. John Paul II opened diplomatic relations with the state of Israel. And the Catholic Church has offered guidance on this, both from the Second Vatican Council and then following up in a document from 1985, which discusses how the church, seeing herself as the new Israel, can discuss the relation of Jews and the state of Israel to the church. And it can be very friendly, and we can be supportive of the state of Israel on the grounds of, for instance, international law, rather than on the grounds of a nationalist ideology or biblical prophecy. So I kind of see what she's getting at, but it is certainly not the case that the Catholic Church insists that Catholics not support the state of Israel. That's belied by the actions of the church herself.
And before I go to Shabbos, Michael,
I'm going to read a couple super chats first because we're a little bit behind. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Pre-Dawn Corpse for the 99 cent. Thank you, Pre-Dawn Corpse. Bumblebee says, I can't wait for the D-Day Cobra intro with Trump as Luffy Lamau. Marmilla says, Crowder has called this out plenty of times and has been spot on. Meghan and MTG are just a new wave of feminists presenting themselves as traditional wives and mothers. I will continue to say over and over again, when you're wrong, you're wrong. My criticisms years ago of Crowder, 100% wrong. Crowder has proven himself to, in my humble opinion, Steven Crowder might be the most genuine person in the entire MAGA media movement. He might be. Like it seems like this dude is just, he seems as genuine as can be. Now, again, I'm not a big fan of his content. I like when he's serious. I hate his comedy. I can't stand. I wish Crowder was as funny as Nick Fuentes, because Fuentes is fucking funny. I just don't like him. But he's funny as shit. Crowder is not funny at all. When he's not yelling at his wife, that's when I started liking Crowder, when I found out he yelled at his wife. I was like, my man, let's go. Yeah, so I wish he's not funny at all. He's not. But I respect Crowder a lot. Marmilla says, who is this? Honestly asking. The chick, the latest conservative Con Inc. plant. That's pretty much what she was. Mike Zero Source says, didn't Piers state the Second Amendment is about muskets? Also, did you ever go on his show? Morgan is against our Second Amendment in our Constitution. I know you are pro-gun. I've been on his show twice. He doesn't know who I am. I'm just a backup for when Drinker or Gary's not available. So, but yeah, he doesn't know who the fuck I am. He has no idea. Like, seriously, you could walk up to Piers Morgan and be like, hey, Piers, what do you think about Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers or D-Day Cobra? He's like, who? Never mind, Piers. Have a good day. He doesn't know who the fuck I am. Red Mage for 20 says, how many times is it now that the news cycle that people have said MAGA is dead? Like 4? Are they trying to be like the left, repeat the lie until it's true? That's exactly what they are doing. That's exactly what they are doing. 100%. Red Mage is also saying I talk to MAGA people all the time without giving examples already smells like BS. Same goes for I talk to people I know with no specifics. In the know, probably. You might as well go with sources say. 100%. 100%. Thank you, Red Mage. Good to see you here, brother. Eheb says, we need an off-the-cuff press conference by Trump with the supreme leader being gay, with questions by the 199, because we're well-adjusted people who would only ask reasonable questions. Only reasonable from the 199. Only reasonable questions. No doubt about that. Ashen Rose with 5 gifted memberships. Thank you, Ashen. Appreciate that. And thank you for becoming a new member. Mike Zero says, Alex Jones called out Piers Morgan on the Second Amendment. Alex Jones called out Megyn Kelly over an interview which was recorded. Alex Jones proved Megyn Kelly tried an interview off of a bad faith. Okay, yeah, so I'm aware of both of these instances. I just thought that you were talking about today based on all the stuff going on. I'm very aware of Alex Jones and Piers Morgan, their debate all those years ago. I believe it was on CNN, if I'm not mistaken. And then I'm very aware of Megyn Kelly and her setup interview on Alex Jones. I believe that's when she was with NBC, if I'm not mistaken. So I am familiar with both of those. I just thought this was something more recent. Let's see. Nilla Wafer says, context for Jeremy. The race swaps are a guy who's supposed to have an afro and people from an Arabic nation. People don't want to admit, but there is logic to casting darker skin than in the original. Are you talking about on One Piece? Yeah, I mean, ultimately, like, all I can say is, like, as a person who has covered so much woke entertainment, and I will fully acknowledge that I am not knowledgeable about the source material on One Piece, but watching the show, there is nothing that stands out as a message or identity politics or an agenda-driven anything. None of it stands out. So that's the best thing I can say about it. But I understand if people are upset about it, you know, that want to see different stuff from the source material. I get it.
This whole kind of gathering sentiment that if you're critical of the Israeli government, somehow you must be anti-Semitic.
I don't think that that's what's going on. Like, okay, listen, regardless of like, do I think that there's a ton of Jew hate online? Yeah. I also think there's a lot of hate for white people. I think there's a lot of hate for black people. Most people like Asians and Japanese people. There's a lot of hate for Russians online, Piers. Do we need to talk about that? There's a lot of hate for Russians. Fuck, the whole fucking mainstream media hates Russians more than any group of people in the fucking world. Like, Russians are hated by the fucking media. Mainstream media gets up there every day and they're like, we can't attack people based on who they are or where they're from. And then they just hate fucking Russians all day long. Christians get hate. So, like, there's a lot of hate online. Like, that doesn't mean you can't criticize Israel, but like, I think we're talking two different things.
What do you think of that? Because I think it's got completely out of hand and devalues what anti-Semitism is, which is actually a very insidious, evil thing, which we should all be against. But once,
why is like anti-Semitism different than anti-white? Or like, racism is racism, prejudice is prejudice, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, who cares? Why are you trying to? It's this evil thing. It's evil.
You start branding everybody anti-Semitic for criticizing a government, I would go back to, say, 2003 with the Iraq War, which I led the media campaign in the UK against that. It never struck anyone's mind that I was being anti-British or anti the British people. They just thought I didn't agree with what my government.
Because history, yeah, I know that's the argument. Just history. It's the same thing they fucking say about like black people and all that, like history. I wouldn't lie for any of that shit. All right.
Was doing. What's the difference when you criticize Israel's government?
Yes, of course. I mean, the phrase anti-Semitism is thrown around far too much, like the phrase racism. However, two things are true at once. I do think there is a growing strain of Jew hatred in public life. I think we've seen that mostly from the left, but a little bit on the right. But yes, the notion that if you criticize the state of Israel, if you don't embrace the novel theology of Christian Zionism or something like that, the idea
I know, Lady
Jews is kind of crazy. What Carrie said there is very important. She said that the church views herself spiritually as Semites. That's a line that comes from Pope Pius XI. And the line is important because in the lead up to the Second World War, the Pope was pointing out that Christians really cannot get on board with all of the Jew hatred stuff. And this was obviously then followed up by Pope Pius XII, who was a great defender of the Jews, saved hundreds of thousands of Jews during the Second World War, so much so that the chief rabbi of Rome, Israel Zoli, not only was baptized, but actually took the name Eugene after.
I don't think anybody gives a shit about what Michael Knowles is saying, generally speaking. Like, at the end of the day, like, people are just tired of identity politics. That's what people are tired of.
Pius XII after the Second World War. So yes, it's very, very frustrating. And it can lead people, I think, emotionally to say, well, by golly, if you're going to call me an anti-Semite, I'm going to prove you right. But there's just so much propaganda that's flown around from Jew haters, legitimate Jew.
And by the way, I like Michael Knowles. Actually, he's like the only guy at the Daily Wire that I can stand outside of Ben Shapiro's pop culture takes. I like Ben Shapiro's pop culture takes. I do. I wish that was what he was known for. But not so much.
Haters on one side to people who are accusing everyone, who doesn't go along with their program as being anti-Semitic. And there is a third option. One can pragmatically and prudentially support the state of Israel when it is just, while recognizing that the U.S. and Israel have different interests, that Christianity is different from Judaism, and we can think about things in a way that avoids those two silly extremes.
Yeah, or you could be like me.
What if most people just don't give a shit about Israel, no matter what? What about that? My politics are, I don't care about Israel positively or negatively. That's my politics. I don't care.
Where you like.
And then I know the anti-Israel crowd's going to be like, well, you should care, Jeremy, because of, and then they just throw a bunch of fucking links at you and a bunch of like, you should watch this person that's been kicked off of every platform because of his anti-Jew narrative. I'm like, I don't fucking care. Go watch your favorite person on BitChute for all I fucking care. I don't give a shit.
Israel, you absolutely believe it has a right to exist. You like Israelis, you like Jewish people, but you don't agree with what the Israeli government is doing a lot of the time. I don't see anything incompatible about any of that. Let me bring in Shabbos. You might have a view about whether I'm
what if
these are incompatible.
What if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head right now? Goated Trump response.
Positions, but it was interesting. You've got a particular involvement with Carrie Prejean Boller because you were one of the people she clashed with on the Religious Liberty Commission.
Let's hear what RK Jew Post has to say here. We got Jewish Kennel here, Jewish Ryan Kennel in the house. So let's see what Jewish Ryan has to say.
So what did you think of what she said to me earlier?
Well, it's good to see you. I think the most revealing part of your interview was that you were the season 1 winner of Celebrity Apprentice. I didn't know that, so well done, Piers.
Thank you.
I would say that was a gross mischaracterization of what that hearing was all about. At that hearing, I encourage all the listeners, watch the hearing or just watch my testimony. Go on my Twitter. I posted it for yourself. I did not mention the word Israel, Zionism, Gaza, AIPAC, Bibi. I spoke about, for someone who's so concerned about the discrimination against Catholics as she purports to be, I spoke about how 20 minutes from my house, a Catholic...
Bro, Jewish Kennel's going in on that beauty pageant chick. Damn.
school in Long Beach, California, was vandalized. I spoke about how I have American Mormon friends who were victims of chants F the Mormons at Oklahoma State. Only after did I speak about the religious discrimination faced by so many young Americans in this country did I then talk about the discrimination that young American Jews are experiencing on college campuses. Not once did I engage in some political or theological discourse on Israel, but there was only one person who was fascinated by discussing the Middle East, and this is what Matt Walsh calls Israel derangement syndrome, and that was Carrie Prejean Boller. She wore a Palestinian flag. She asked.
Okay, I'm getting a little freaked out here. I'm getting a little freaked out because if Ryan Kennel and Ben Shapiro had a baby, I think we're listening to him right now. He's smart. He's articulate. He speaks very quickly. He's got him a little hat on. He's not cussing or yelling.
All sorts of questions about Gaza, and I'm happy to have that debate, but that's not what the purpose of this commission was about. She betrayed the trust of President Trump and this commission to talk about the religious discrimination that so many young Americans are facing. And to Michael's point, and Michael is actually on my show at PragerU Theological, so he can attest to the fact that I believe very strongly and very comfortably as an Orthodox Jew that America is a Christian country.
Thank you for letting us know. Much like when Stephen A. Smith says, as a black man, I would have never known. I would have never known if you would not have pointed to the obvious and let us know. Thank you for the confirmation. We had no idea.
We would be better off and more strong as a country if more young people went back to church. If you're a Catholic, you should absolutely be going to Mass. You should be reading and learning from the New Testament and living a life in accordance with the teachings of Jesus. But if your theology says I can't support the state of Israel, that's fine. That's your theology. You know, Carrie refuses to debate me. She said in the hearing that we wish we should get coffee and that I'm silencing her speech. I've offered to debate her 9 separate times, anytime, anywhere, but she doesn't want to, which is why she logged off before this panel. But I'm not.
Oh boy, let's go. All right. I am kind of a fan of this guy because, I mean, he's basically calling the beauty pageant chick out from the beginning that Piers basically gave her nothing. Like, he just gave her a full platform, able to spew whatever she wanted, and then didn't check her on anything. This guy's saying he's challenged her before and she's run from him.
Says I can't support the state of Israel, that's fine. That's your theology. You know, Carrie refuses to debate me. She said in the hearing that we wish we should get coffee and that I'm silencing her speech. I've offered to debate her 9 separate times, anytime, anywhere, but she doesn't want to, which is why she logged off before this panel. But I'm not interested in debating theology because I don't want her to change her theological viewpoints. She should believe whatever she wants to believe. But to corrupt the purpose of this commission betrays the trust of President Trump. And number 2, fundamentally, this is to Michael's point, you can support the state of Israel without it having to do anything with theology. In fact, many Jews, myself in particular, were kind of conflicted as to whether the modern state of Israel.
What's his Keynes order?
Established in 1948 is some biblical fulfillment, but it's irrelevant because 55% of all Jews in the world live in the modern state of Israel. It's a Western democracy. It's a liberal ally to the United States. That's why I support it, not because of these grandiose theological statements that someone who, by her own admission, only converted to Catholicism in April is suddenly fascinated in discussing. So it's entirely disingenuous. And, you know, shame on her for bringing the flag of a foreign country into a federal commission.
Okay, let me bring in George Conway here. George, welcome to Uncensored.
Oh, boy.
To put it mildly, not a Donald Trump fan. I think it'd be fair to say that you've been one of his least supportive people in the United States for a very long time.
Fair.
But let's talk about what's happening right now, because a lot of people think that Donald Trump has been sort of slightly conned here by Benjamin Netanyahu. And they base it on what Marco Rubio said.
Trump does not. The fact that people are trying to run with this bullshit is so fucking annoying. Like, what are they talking about? Trump being conned by Israel. Get the fuck.
And he said, look, we had to act preemptively against Iran because we were informed by another country they were going to attack, and that the Iranians would likely respond against American assets, so we got in first. And then the next day, when all hell broke loose about this, they did a rein back and pretended he never said it. At the same time, we got Antony Blinken saying, look, you know, Netanyahu tried this with Obama and with Biden, same playbook. We're going to attack Iran. Are you with me? And both of them said no, and he didn't then attack Iran. So there is a suggestion, which is gathering momentum, that Trump was kind of sort of
correct. Who said that in the chat? Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Jeremy, remember this is Kellyanne Conway's douchebag TDS ex-husband. Yeah. So this is Kellyanne Conway's ex-husband right here. If you remember, she was an advisor to President Trump, and he hates Trump. Like, he despises Trump.
Bamboozled a bit by Netanyahu into doing this. Do you share that suspicion?
No, I wouldn't put it that way. I mean, I think Donald Trump is an idiot. I think he doesn't and has no idea what he's doing in the
He hates Trump so bad.
Middle East right now. But to say that he was somehow bamboozled by Benjamin Netanyahu is ridiculous, and frankly, it's anti-Semitic. I mean, everybody's trying to persuade the president of the United States to do things that they want them to do.
How is it? Oh my God. This guy's all over the fucking place. So wait a minute. So on one hand, Trump's an idiot. He hates Trump. And now he's like, but it's anti-Semitic to say that Trump was manipulated. But what? Dude, this guy's got himself twisted up in a fucking pretzel now. So on one hand, he hates Trump. But on the other hand, Trump is supporting Israel. So now I guess this guy's pro-Israel. I don't know. But this, like, what the hell? This is wild.
And I understand Israel's position that, I mean, one less murderous Ayatollah in the world makes the world a better place. And I'm not sure I disagree with that, but I do disagree with Donald Trump getting into a war without any plans, without any plan to keep the Strait of Hormuz open, now begging for help from China, now begging for help from NATO allies that he's been shitting all over. And so I don't, but I do think that the suggestion that Bibi Netanyahu is to blame and that Israel is to blame, or that the Jews are to blame for our mistakes in the Middle East, I think that's actually anti-Semitic, just as anti-Semitic as Carrie Prejean is talking about Zionist.
Really?
thugs.
I mean, I've got to say, isn't that exactly what we've just been talking about? I mean, the Marco Rubio on the record, on camera.
Go Piers getting there, and he's like, you're not a decent looking chick, so I can challenge you. So I'm about to call you out.
Says the reason America, and he's the Secretary of State, so I kind of take him at his word. The reason the United States preemptively attacked Iran with Israel is because he didn't name the country, but we knew he was talking about Israel, had said to the United States, we're going to attack. Are you with us or not? And he said, we realized Iran...
That may be true.
Yeah, but if that's true, it's not anti-Semitic to say that is what may have happened here.
No, but I think I have to say, I think some of the rhetoric that's been going on about saying that, somehow we were bamboozled by Israel,
Someone in the chat earlier said that this Conway guy is losing the argument to himself. It's so good.
Trump is bamboozled by everyone, and I don't think it's fair to single out Israel for exercising what it believes to be in its interest and its prerogative to persuade the United States to do something that maybe the United States shouldn't have gotten fully on board with. But again, I think to say that he was bamboozled, I just think it plays into anti-Semitic tropes, and
He says that Trump gets bamboozled by everyone. But then he said it's anti-Semitic to say that Trump got bamboozled by Israel. Holy shit. That is this man's brain is broken by TDS.
I really find it offensive.
Okay, let me bring in Professor Roy Casagrande. Welcome to Uncensored. I think it's the first time we've had you on the show, so I appreciate you coming on. So if you suggest that Benjamin Netanyahu pulled a fast one with Trump to persuade him to do this, you're being anti-Semitic. Would you agree with that?
I mean, it seems like a strange thing to say.
I feel like somebody's got some echoing going on that panel, I think.
I think it's very likely that Benjamin Netanyahu did exactly what Marco Rubio said he did, which is I'm going to attack. And, Trump then, being the petulant little child that he is, felt jealousy and felt the need to jump in as well because, right, he wanted to be part of it. But it is also true that everybody tries to bamboozle Trump. And I think there's this saying, right, the last person to talk to Trump is the person who gets, but I don't think it's anti-Semitic to say that Netanyahu tried to bamboozle Trump. I think everybody does it. So I guess that would make everybody anti-Semitic. I don't understand.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
it seems like a strange
yeah,
correlation.
I mean, Michael Knowles, look.
Why wouldn't Piers push back on that? Who has bamboozled Trump? Can you give me 3 examples? You said everybody. So, like, can you give me 3 examples of people that have manipulated Trump? Like, can you? You can't. Holy shit, man.
Looking at it a different way, it's quite possible that Netanyahu said, look, we've located the Ayatollah. He's in this place with all his top people. We're never going to get a better chance. We can take them all out. And Trump has always talked about the Iranian regime as being a terrible, evil thing, right back to way before he was a politician. And he thought, you know what? He just trusted his gut instinct. Right. You're right. Let's go now. Right. And he may have thought this would be as easy as the Maduro thing, where you go in, you decapitate the person at the top, and the rest fall in line as they have it so far in the Venezuelan regime. They've kind of fallen in line to the way Trump wanted them to behave. And you don't have to have the...
Guile says, is it true that Drunk 3PO's channels were nuked today? No, it's true that he got a strike on his Welcome to Rebellion channel. And so he can't stream for 7 days. If you want to help out with that, you can go over here to this tweet right here and retweet it and get Team YouTube to take another look at it. Because it's bullshit what they've done to him. So please go over there. And again, don't insult Team YouTube. Don't just tag him and say, please take a look at this. Please take a look at this. Okay. Simple as that. So Jeremy has room temperature IQ. And you're watching me. Like, that's good. That's good enough for me. Like, I mean, we don't have a high bar around here. So I'm just, and essentially, like, what's going to happen is I'll highlight your comment if I can find it with my room temperature IQ. I can't find it. Fuck. I wanted to highlight it so I could get some super chats off of it. But apparently it's gone. Fuck. Oh, well. Trying to look for it. Somebody say it again. Just somebody say Jeremy has room temperature IQ. Anybody fucking say it. And I'll highlight that and we'll pretend you said it, okay? Somebody just say it. Say Jeremy has room temperature IQ, and I'll highlight your comment, and we'll grift off that, and we'll pretend that somebody else said it, like a hater said it. Okay, there it is, right here. Okay, boom. Jeremy has room temperature IQ. Okay, now look what this dumb motherfucker says. Not this person. This person's probably a fan and probably a supporter, but somebody. We're gonna pretend that this is the person, though. Look what this dumb motherfucker said. Now we gotta get super chats off of him because he's a retard. All right. That's it. That's all it takes around here. So now, are you going to accuse me of planting people in my comments so that I can then highlight their comments? Doesn't sound like room temperature IQ. Sounds like next level thinking. Sounds like I've got a 199 IQ. That's what that sounds like. Somebody said, thank you for your sacrifice. John on YouTube. Thank you for your sacrifice. Hey, there's a 20 from Brockatron. Let's fucking go. He's not talking about this, but we're going to pretend that 20 came in because of this highlighted comment. All right. That's how it works. Even though he's typing something else completely unrelated, we're going to pretend that $20 came in because of not John on YouTube's comment. All right. But anyway. He's going to be permabanned. Great idea, Jeremy. No, he's not. All right. See, we got a few super chats off of this one. Okay. So there. Now, hey, look at that. We getting paid off of my room temperature IQ. That's what I'm talking about. Jeremy can't spell IQ. Thank you, John, on YouTube. Nandy450 says Trump conflict excursion will last 4 to 6 weeks. MAGA, why is it taking so long? Per NBC, a deal has been offered to Trump admin by or from Iran. Trump said no, as he wants to continue until his key points are met. Listen, nobody, generally speaking, that is a true MAGA supporter is worried about this. They're just not, because we trust Trump. Again, I've said I don't love that we're in this situation, because I don't, but but ultimately I trust President Trump, and I have for a while. K Doggy 1999 says, I like how my comments are blocked. Well, they're not, because I can see your comments. So no, your comments are not blocked because I can see your comments. But anyway, go support Drunk 3PO. Thank you, Nandy. Go support Drunk 3PO if you're interested, because that's how you can you just go and retweet this and tag team YouTube, and let's see if we can get some attention on that tweet. So
complete overthrow of the regime to affect actual change that benefits the United States. It's quite possible Trump was thinking that and thought, it was successful with Maduro. We can do it again here. And I think, and Netanyahu said, look, we'll never get a better chance. That could all be true.
Listen, I take issue with the idea that President Trump had not thought about this. I think that claim coming from some of our panelists, I think, is absurd. President Trump had been talking about going after Iran since the 1980s. And so, yes, I'm sure Benjamin Netanyahu was lobbying him very hard to do it. And it's not anti-Semitic to say that. I also know that Mohammed bin Salman was lobbying very hard for Trump to do this. But also, this has been part of the grand strategy of the United States since at least 1979. Really, you would say since 1953, since the CIA coup that got rid of Mossadegh and consolidated the power of the Shah. So President Trump, from day one, goes in there. It's a very successful first day of the war. He says that the war is going to go on for about 5 weeks. We've just finished week 2. I myself am skeptical of the Iran operation. Had I been on the NSC, no one invited me, but had I been on it, I would have made arguments against it. But to suggest that Trump was just, befuddled and confused and duped and tricked, I think is ridiculous. Trump.
It's beyond ridiculous. We are talking about Donald Trump. We are talking about a person that has succeeded at literally everything from the entertainment world to the business world, reality TV, like whatever it is, the hotel business, the golf course business, and then decides to run for president and wins against all odds when no one thought that he had a chance. Wins against all odds. He's so successful that they literally have to steal an election from him, and they think that he's going to go away. And then he comes back and faces even more craziness that even we couldn't foresee. No one could look at the 2024 run and imagined all of the things that they were going to put in Trump's way. No one would have imagined that he could overcome all of that, yet he did, and he wins in a landslide. This is, right now, in my lifetime, there are only a couple of names that I think are in the same sphere as Trump, but I believe Trump is probably the single most famous person of my lifetime. The only people that are in the ballpark are Michael Jordan and Michael Jackson, and that's it. Elvis was a little before my time, but those are probably the two most. Yeah, it's Michael Jordan and Michael Jackson, and I would say Michael Jackson was more popular than Michael Jordan, but it was close. But outside of that, Donald Trump is the most famous person of my entire lifetime. So yeah, it's So to say that he's just this guy who gets manipulated and bamboozled is kind of fucking crazy.
Has the best foreign policy record of any president in my lifetime, at least, probably including George H.W. Bush, who oversaw the fall of the Soviet Union. He just keeps winning. And I think the people who have been saying for 10 years now that Trump just keeps accidentally getting it right, I think that their argument is beyond credulity.
But that's interesting, Michael. Has it created a sense of invincibility in Trump, which may now have tripped him up? And let me explain what I mean by that. Is that when he launched this attack, he came out immediately, very typical Trump, very belligerent. Right, we've taken out the top people. This is all over. I urge the people of Iran to rise up and take charge. It's gone. They'll never have a nuclear bomb, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But here we are 2.5 weeks later, and actually the regime is still intact. We don't know about the supposed new supreme leader, whether he's alive or dead, or whether he's in Moscow getting medical treatment. Maybe by the time this airs, there'll be more clarity on that, but we haven't seen or heard from this guy yet, the slain Ayatollah's son. But what is indisputable is that the Strait of Hormuz, which carries 20% of the world's oil every day, has been pretty well closed to everyone but the Iranians, Chinese, and a bit of Russia now for 2.5 weeks, to enormous economic damage, which will only be felt actually by a lot of Americans in a few weeks or months' time, when it was reflected in rising food prices, because every day the Strait of Hormuz is shut is going to be problematic for the food chain supply around the world. So it just seems to me that Trump may have thought this would be a quick, easy win, that militarily, obviously, the Americans and Israelis together, most formidable double-active world military firepower history against the Iranians, it's a no contest. What they hadn't factored in, and I think this is where the miscalculation has come, is the double-pronged strategy of the Iranians of effectively shutting down the Strait of Hormuz to those.
Okay, the NPC talking points have definitely gone out. Okay. I just saw this on my timeline. Elijah Schaefer uploads a video that says MAGA is dead. Never Vance, never Rubio, America first. The talking points are definitely out there.
So now Mark Levin is MAGA, huh? Mark Levin, the never Trumper, who said that he would never vote for Trump. What, it was Mark Levin, Glenn Beck, who dipped his face in Cheeto dust, remember that? And then you had Ben Shapiro, who would say, Trump is not the right guy. Even in the last election, he tried to go with the Florida governor. He was one of the DeSantoids. So you got these three never Trump neocons, Zionists, two of which are Jewish, that now Trump is saying that's the real MAGA. Trump put out a giant tweet in response to Megyn Kelly owning Mark Levin, calling him a micro penis Jew, basically, which is weird. He got a little hat, a little dick. I don't really care about that. I don't think about Mark Levin's private parts. But I mean, if I was a guy and a girl told me I have a little dick, they always say that. You just go, okay, and you move on with your life if you're secure. But now Trump is saying Mark Levin, he put a whole diatribe that his neocon ideas are MAGA. And I want you to listen to that. I want you to take that to your heart, okay? Because when Trump, he is MAGA. He's right. He goes, I am MAGA. And he's gotten a bit prideful, you could say. He's completely abandoned his base. And those of us who...
The talking points are out. MAGA is dead.
Didn't want to have access through it. And simultaneously attacking the neighboring Gulf states in a way that has seriously imperiled the mission statement, future business plan of come and live in Dubai, come and live in Qatar, come and live in Riyadh, and it's safe and it's fun and it's sunny and everything else. Suddenly there are bombs going off in hotels, bombs going off at the Dubai airport and so on. You're seeing a lot of expats leave. You're seeing a lot of tourists stay away. This double-pronged sort of economic strategy that they've waged has been undeniably quite effective and probably more effective than Trump calculated. I mean, do you think that's a plausible proposition?
We certainly can't say that he thought it would be over by now, because he said at the outset that it would go on for about 5 weeks. But I totally agree with you, Piers. This is the riskiest thing Trump has ever done in politics, bar none. That is why I would have argued against it had I been on the NS.
I mean, I think there's an argument, a strong argument to be made that it is. But at the same time, we are in a world of a news cycle that is constantly changing, and we're constantly focusing on the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And I would not be surprised if in 2 months from now, Trump is doing the next most dangerous thing that he's ever done politically, because everything Trump does, according to everybody, is the craziest thing he's ever done. So it's just like, this is the world of Trump, man. He breaks people's brains. Not Michael Knowles specifically, because again, this is a huge deal. It's a huge deal because Trump ran on no more wars, no new wars, no forever wars. But he also consistently has talked about Iran since 1980. He's talked about not letting them have nuclear capabilities. But also, I believe that there is a lot more that's going into this situation with Iran than just Iran. I think this is about China. I think this is about repositioning the United States in a very different way that is going to guarantee the future successes of future presidents. So there's a lot of layers to this that are clearly not going to be understood right now, because Trump's not going to walk out there and say that. He's not going to tell people that that's what he's doing.
See, however, the good that could be achieved, and don't forget this has been part of U.S. grand strategy for many decades, the good that could be achieved would be amazing. You would basically fulfill the good that began under the Abraham Accords, consolidate the Gulf states with Israel under broad American influence. You would get rid of the destabilizing force in the Middle East, Iran. You'd chop off the head of the snake. You'd back off China. You'd back off Russia. It could all be great. I'm with you, Piers. If the Strait of Hormuz remains closed for much longer, the Republicans are totally sunk in the midterms. One could say that the reason he undertook such a grand operation is because we only have a one-member majority in the House anyway. So if we're going to lose the midterms, might as well do something pretty big on our way out. But regardless, yes, if this works, Trump will be one of the most consequential presidents in American history. He already probably is, but he will go down truly as a foreign policy genius. If this doesn't work out, his legacy will be tarnished as George W. Bush's was. The only reason that I'm not freaking out now, I say I'm not freaking out until week 6. He said it would take 5 weeks. I'm going to freak out on week 6. I don't care how my oil futures are doing. He has a very good record. He's the only president in the last quarter century.
This fucking guy sitting here laughing when this piece of shit, this Conway guy, this piece of shit's been having TDS for 10 years, probably predicted Trump would be in prison, probably predicted Trump was going to lose to Kamala, probably predicted that Hillary's going to beat Trump. And this piece of shit sitting there laughing arrogantly like he knows what he's talking about.
On whose watch Vladimir Putin hasn't invaded a country. His attack on Iran over the summer was excellent. His decapitation of Venezuela took 88 minutes. He dropped the Moab. He killed Soleimani. He's just done very, very well on foreign policy, which is why for now I say let him cook. However, he will be the one, along with the American people, to bear the consequences if this doesn't work out.
The only spanner in the works I would put in that argument is he didn't say 5 weeks at the start. He said it would be very quick. Then he changed it to 5 weeks when he realized it probably wouldn't be a few days like he hoped.
Welcome to how President Trump handles everything because of how the media is going to manipulate what he says. Yes, that's why he answers in the way he answers, because he doesn't want to be boxed in.
George Conway, let me ask you a difficult question. Have you, in his entire time as President of the United States, in either term, ever knowingly praised Donald Trump for anything?
Yeah, no, I have. I mean, I have praised him for things. I can't remember what they are now because they're so few and far between. But
well,
let me
give me
just
an
say
example
this.
of where you think he's done a good. Where has he done a good thing?
I would have to go. It's hard. It really is hard.
Do you like his suits?
But you know,
his ties?
George, here's my point. George, before you answer,
I don't really like his ties.
Here's my point.
See, this is what I missed about Piers in the opening segment. He didn't check that woman at all. Like, this is actually funny. This guy is completely flustered, by the way. He cannot think of anything.
No,
his ties?
George, here's my point. George, before you answer,
I don't really like his ties.
Here's my point. You see, I look at this. I've always tried to be fair with Trump. I praise him when I think he's right, criticize him when I think he's wrong. I've been very critical of him last few days about Iran, but I was very...
Let's see. Hang on. Somebody asked a question here. I gotta see. And the reason it stood out to me, if I can find it. Dang it. Where is it? These comments are so hard to pull up sometimes. I saw a comment that I wanted to address, and I might not be able to find it. I'm looking. Damn it. Nope. I'm not going to be able to find it. Sadly. Now everybody's commenting shit. Jeremy is scrolling. I am. But I can't find it. It would have been a good one too. I'm looking. Fuck. I wonder if I should waste another 20 minutes just seeing if I can scroll back and find this fucking comment. Because I had a funny thing to say about it, but I can't find it now. I'm just going to keep scrolling. I don't give a shit. I'll fucking waste the whole show looking for it. Damn it. I can't find it. Just find it. Just find it. Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. Oh, well. Fuck it.
Praiseworthy, for example, about something that I can't imagine any American not praising him for, which is what he's done with the southern border. I mean, you know, you compare it to what happened under Biden for 4 years. Any American surely would be happy that the southern border effectively got shut down to millions more illegal people coming into the country, undocumented, illegally, into a country where millions had come in the 4 years before. I don't think that's a contentious partisan issue. It should be something where even you, George Conway, who hates the guy, can say, you know what, I'm going to hold my nose, but yes, Mr. President, I think that's a good thing.
I mean, there are times where I've held my nose and said, well, he got this one right, usually by accident.
What?
But
Name
when
it.
to get back,
what is it? What have you ever said? What have you complimented Trump on? Please let us know. We are waiting patiently.
To the Iran issue, I mean, the problem with it is I hope he does get lucky. I hope, frankly, tomorrow he declares victory.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Everything goes back.
You do not hope Trump gets lucky. You don't want anything good to happen to Trump. You don't want his decisions to be good because it goes against the very foundation of everything you believe. And you just pointed out you can't even think of one thing that Trump has done in the last decade that you can compliment him for.
Back to normal. And oil prices go down, and he gets his victory, and there's peace, at least for now, in the Middle East. I don't like the Iranian regime. I wish it would go away. I don't like the fact that they probably will still try to develop nuclear weapons, although, you know, I don't think that they're about to do that in the very near future. But I will say this. He doesn't know what he's doing. He can't explain what he's doing. We've heard so many different rationales about how long the war is going to last, what the purpose of the war is. I mean, this is a man.
Why do you want him to give strategic information out to the public? What is wrong with you? Do you not understand? Trump has been on record multiple times saying how stupid our previous leaders are when they get up in front of the cameras and they give detailed information about our military operations and our goals and our initiatives. He said how stupid this is. And this motherfucker wants this. He wants Trump to get up on stage in front of the fucking world, in front of all of our enemies, and tell them exactly what we're doing. Good Lord, these people are unbelievable.
Although, you know, I don't think that they're about to do that in the very near future. But I will say this. He doesn't know what he's doing. He can't explain what he's doing. We've heard so many different rationales about how long the war is going to last, what the purpose of the war is. I mean, this is a man, remember, whose own Secretary of State, Rex Tillerson, called him an effing idiot. A moron, I'm sorry, effing moron. I got to get my words correct. His own national security advisor, John Bolton, called him a laughing fool. He's a man who had to, you know, they had to explain to him the difference between the Balkans and the Baltics. His own chief of staff during his first term, General Kelly, had to explain the significance of Pearl Harbor as they were flying into Hickam Air Force Base. He thought they had to explain to him a couple of times that Ireland is not part of the United Kingdom. My daughter when she was in 4th grade, won a geography bee where she beat 7th and 8th graders, and she knew more geography than Donald Trump did during his first term, and probably still does. And
let me tell you something.
I mean, this man has no idea what he's doing.
But let me tell you,
I will say to lesbian Conway here, one thing that I will agree with is that Trump had terrible picks in his first administration. Like awful. And he helped confirm that. A lot of, like, Rex Tillerson was a terrible pick. All right. That was not good. Jeff Sessions was not good. Mike Pence was not good. Like, he had a lot of bad fucking picks in his first term. 100%. So I'm not going to argue with you on that. And he's had, I would say, generally good picks in his second term. Still a couple of issues for sure, but mostly really good picks.
when I was editor of the Mirror during the Iraq War, which we deposed, we took a children's map onto the streets of New York, and we asked 100 New Yorkers when they came out of the subway to show us where Iraq was. And from memory, at least 11 put it in the middle of the United States. So let's not get too carried away here about geography.
Okay, but he's Donald. He's the president of the United States.
I know.
He probably wouldn't do any better than somebody coming out of the 7th Street.
A lot of people in the UK, if you ask them, probably don't know about Ireland and the complexity of the south of Ireland and the north. So this is not a thing unusual to Donald Trump, I can tell you. Shabos, how do you think this is all going to play out here? Because
he's so happy to say, look at him. Anytime he can say anything bad about Trump, this is him. His life is all about saying bad things about Trump and getting people to giggle. Look how happy he is that someone laughed about Donald Trump. This is it. This is the greatest moment of his life right here. This is it. Look at that. Look at that. That's a face of joy in that one moment. Donald Trump. They laughed at my Trump joke. They laughed. Good Lord, man. The Bella Stella for $50 says Jared doesn't have room temperature IQ. He's got high IQ. Some would say the highest there is. Some would say many people have said it. Many people. Thank you, the Bella Stella. I appreciate you as always. Let's see. JDT199 says, what the hell was Kellyanne Conway thinking? I mean, I don't know. I don't know this guy's backstory. What's her name? Dana Perino is married to like a 152-year-old. So maybe this dude has money. I don't know. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, like Dana Perino's married. Her husband's like 142 years old or something like that. Like he is an old motherfucker. So yeah, whatever, man. I am Brockertron for 20 says one big reason is it's the riskiest thing he's ever done is because he has the weight of probably the world on his shoulders and previous other presidential failures in the Middle East. While we know he's different, perception is everything right now. I actually don't disagree with anything you just said right there. All right. You're 100% right about this. 100%. Let's see. Marmillan says, while I am not for war with Iran, I do agree with the move. I really don't like how this new age thing of, quote, we need a timeline for this to be done. How about it's war? It's done when it's done. Yeah, I mean, the fact that they're begging for a timeline is kind of crazy to me. But I mean, again, it's Trump, so they need something. So, Ugly Duckly says, why do I care about future Elon's baby mama? Jack Murphy's best buddy or bearded West-hating professors say about Donald Trump international policy. Tired of these ankle biters in the media. 100%. I didn't know where you were going with that one, but I agree completely. All right. Narco says, I agree with the intervention action on Iran. This is not war. This should have been done 20 years ago. The Gulf counties our Gulf countries are tired of it. Iran too on our side. The next few weeks will be glorious. I think Trump it's going to be, again, It's interesting because all of the people that spend all day talking about Trump and bitching about him and whining about him, they're going to have massive egg on their face once again. And do you know what they're going to do? They're just going to move on to the next thing. They're going to move on to the next thing that they can be offended over, because this is how they operate. Whiskey Niner says, all this nonsense from Tucker, Candace, etc. are as bad as mainstream media. Agreed. No, I'm not for 10 says they believe appealing to libertarians will make them more money. Libertarians believe to be MAGA because they support isolationism. To them, MAGA means without Trump, you and I are not MAGA to them. Yeah, they do think that there's money in the libertarian movement for sure. Agreed. JDT says, I hate everyone equally. You and me both. Ramtack says, we'll lose this country if people think Trump cares more about Israel than Americans. I just paid $21 for chicken thighs at Sam's. It feels like he's fighting the wrong battles. The problem is I don't think most people think that. I think that's we are, regardless of what people want to understand this or not, this is something that's happened in the last, in my opinion, the last 2+ years. We are seeing a wider gap from the internet versus reality. I think that there was a lot of parallels with the internet and reality a few years ago, but the internet is becoming completely disconnected from the real world. The perceptions on the internet, the conversations, the things that are being said on the internet is drastically different now than what is actually going on in the real world. And the ability to compartmentalize that and separate that and understand that is important. And if you believe that everything that's being said on the internet translates to the real world, you're going to have a crazy perception of the real world. But I'm here to tell you that, in my opinion, and I try my best to have perspective outside of my own, I think that the perception on the internet, not just in politics, in so many different things, is wildly different from the real world. Gearmaster says, Piers Morgan reminds me of an older Tim Pool, but with hair. Mar Millen says, Piers just lied. They didn't pretend he didn't say it. They said it inside of like 20 other facts going on in Iran, and they clipped it out of context, as they always do, and latched onto it. Correct. 100%. And yeah, I've said it before, but I think that the conversations going on Twitter right now are as bad as I've ever seen them. Like the stuff that's happening. And I'm not saying that there's anything needs to be done about that, because I can criticize it, but I can also say that this is how it should be. The internet should be as free and as fair as humanly possible, and you let the chips fall where they may. So as much as I am kind of getting burnt out on Twitter and seeing all of the bullshit on Twitter all day, every day, the constant just information war that's going on Twitter, bullshit, lies, fake videos, AI, and then buried in all of that is real information. It is tough to get through a lot of it, but that's much better than having the mainstream control the narrative. It's much better than that.
I can tell you. Shabos, how do you think this is all going to play out here? Because it seems to me, as Michael said, it's unbelievably high stakes for Trump, because the midterms are coming fast. You know, we're nearly in the middle of March here now. Then you're 6 months away from the midterm elections. He was already likely to lose the House. Big rumblings now he may lose the Senate because of this. And then he becomes pretty powerless. I mean, he got the power of executive orders, but you know what will happen if he loses control of Congress is the Democrats will come with everything they've got to impeach him.
I refuse to believe that Donald Trump does not understand what's at stake in the midterms. I refuse to believe that Donald Trump made this decision without a full plan, because, and understand this, nobody has more on the line personally or politically in the midterms than Donald Trump. Nobody. If Donald Trump loses the midterms, if we lose the midterms, Donald Trump is fucked. And I don't mean just politically. They are going to ruin this man's life. They're going to ruin his legacy. They're going to ruin his family's life and his family's legacy. Nobody has more on the line for the midterms than Donald J. Trump.
Again, it'll be swallowed up in all that legalese again. And, pretty much his effectiveness to run the country properly, as he would like to do it, disappears. So the stakes here are huge. If come June, July, this is still going on, and it's really hitting home with inflation on food prices and so on, and at the gas pump and so on, I think that this will, in the end, turn out to have been a massive mistake by Trump. Conversely, as Michael said, if somehow by then it's all played out the way he hopes, and I take George's point, I'm not entirely sure what Trump now sees as victory. Does he see total surrender? Does he see the overthrow of the regime? Does he see the people rising up? He seems to change from day to day. But what do you feel about this politically here?
Okay, so I definitely agree with your diagnosis of the problem. Like, as conservatives, as
shit, dude, he went full Ben Shapiro. Like it's like Ryan Shapiro or Ben Kennel. It's crazy. Yes, Piers, listen, I totally understand what you're saying, huh? Like, it's crazy.
Okay, so I definitely agree with your diagnosis of the problem. Like, as conservatives, as Republicans, historically going into the midterms when you're in power has never been favorable, but I totally disagree as to the causes of it. So first of all, I have to take issue with the Democratic Party, and I think you were alluding to this, talking about, the cost of gas and fuel. As I said, I moved to Los Angeles for my job at PragerU. The gas station nearest to where I live, I do not live in a very expensive area of Los Angeles. Gas is $6.46. So the biggest problem, the biggest threat to affordability is not the Iranian regime, it's Governor Gavin Newsom and the Democratic Party, but they'll sort of fixate on Iran. So that's number one. Number two, the goals of this war have been so unbelievably clear. And in fact, Marco Rubio, when he was part of the Gang of Eight in the Senate, he said, we never got the briefings that I, as the Secretary of State, am now giving any member of Congress who wishes. So President Trump has been so clear. Number one, it's about ending Iran's pursuit of nuclear weapons. Number two, it's halting the expansion of Iranian's ballistic missile arsenal. It's preventing the development of longer-range missile systems that are capable of hitting the United States, neutralizing threats to close the Strait of Hormuz, which the Ayatollah had repeatedly threatened, degrading the networks responsible for killing Americans. Look, 90% of the funding that the Houthis get, that Hamas gets, that Hezbollah gets, is given by Iran. So this idea that, like, we don't have any interest at stake, and what Carrie Prejean Boller was saying, MAGA is dead. First of all, she's been saying that. Nick Fuentes has been saying this. Candace Owens has been saying this like 2 years now. Like, great, it's dead. We got it. So you can leave now. But the idea that the MAGA base don't support this is just not demonstrated by any of the facts. It's totally divorced from reality. The lowest poll I could find before I came on the show was a Washington Post poll that found only 85% of MAGA Republicans support this war. That's the lowest number I can find.
Yeah, I've seen the same. I said that to her, and I don't know where she got her.
I heard the other day, I heard Tim Pool talking about, I think it was Tim Pool. I can't remember. I heard somebody talking about the fact that they are finding difficulty finding any true Trump supporters that have abandoned Trump. And whoever this was like, and I can't believe it. Like, why can't you believe it? Like, Donald Trump's been the most relevant political figure by a mile for the last decade. He's got a movement like no other ever. He's overcome everything, and you're shocked that the people that have been with him for a decade are still with him? Why is that shocking? These people pay attention to anything that fucking happens?
She was basing hers on individual conversations she's had with people, but I don't think that's right.
It might be a shock. She lies. But let me just close by saying this last point. President Trump is a pragmatic human being, okay? To your point, you were on his show, Celebrity Apprentice. He looks at the news. He looks at polling. The American people, for the most part, especially his base, are solidly in the war for now. I agree with Michael. If this is going on in 5 weeks' time, 6 weeks' time, that's a different conversation. I would be shocked, and I'm happy to come back on your show and apologize on live TV, but I would be shocked if this is going on in 3 months' time from now, because President Trump doesn't want that. He ran in 2016 saying that he was against the war in Iraq. He doesn't want forever wars. This is not the beginning of a war. This is the end of a war. The end of a war that cost the lives of thousands of American civilians and thousands of American troops.
Okay. Roy Casagrande, I mean, what would concern me as an American?
Well, we'll leave this there. I don't care what this fucking guy in the middle says. This guy looks like he fucking, works part-time in a fucking Waffle House anyway, the guy in the middle. No disrespect to the Waffle House workers, but like if I was to go into a Waffle House at 2 a.m., this guy in the middle would probably be the cook, okay? He'd probably be the cook. 100%. You know I'm right. You know I'm right. So, but that's no disrespect to the Waffle House because we love the Waffle House. We do. I got to catch up on super chats. Ryan Miller says, these people are so pathetic. They are freaking out over an operation that's been 3 weeks. I can promise you if he succeeds, they're going to look stupid. They will, but they'll just move on, unfortunately. Bright Matt says, these so-called MAGAs who are turning their backs on Trump remind me of Restore Britain supporters who turned their back on the Reform UK. So pathetic. Jeremy is gay says, was only teasing Jeremy. Girl Boss Doom Part 2, One Piece swapped race. I didn't get the Girl Boss Dune Part 2. I didn't like Dune Part 2 as much as Part 1, but I didn't get the Girl Boss aspect of it. Of course, I don't hate Zendaya as much as everybody else on the fucking internet does. I'm not really a fan of Zendaya either, but I don't hate her. I don't have this like passionate hatred for her like everybody on the internet does. Ministry of Own thinks so close. Nobody's seen them together. Philip Butler says, I am old, but I didn't know I was dead. MAGA lives. Ministry of Own thinks says, meanwhile, CNN poll, what U.S. cares about Iran 45%. Ministry of Own thinks says, who are you? Johnny V. 727 says, MAGA is dead tax. Piano Dean says, the only thing I agree with this woman on is that Paula White is scary AF. Packy Proton says, how does Tucker know the CIA is reading his stuff? Did they tell him? I got a lot of questions for Tucker. Not me personally, but I'd like for somebody to ask these questions. Measure of Fun Thing says, how do you do, fellow libs? MAGA? Vic Chavez says, if they're free because they're no longer corpo slaves, aren't they slaves to their audience now? Yes. Mike Zero Source says, Alex, I'm not wearing my glasses. Little Jim Halo says, this is why nobody trusts the media at all. All they do is lie and manipulate the narrative. This is why I watch a croc-wearing Alabamian. Zachary says, Megyn Kelly and Tucker are pulling a Ben Shapiro and betraying Trump. Hard to forgive them now. Philip says, what part of never again doesn't she get? Sean Living Life says, let the petty era begin. This is where I'm at in my time. I am in the petty era of the internet. Just respond with pure pettiness. That's the way to do it. Cardboard Beardo says, IDOT clown Zionist tax. Vic Chavez says, Piers saying he's Catholic while being pro-abortion is certainly a take. Philip says, this reminds me of a non-binary Zionism transition. Peter says, did you see the video of BB's ring disappearing? It's on Asmongold's clip channel, Wild Stuff. He's not here. He's not with us anymore. BB's like, I was told that he's no longer with us. So Vault 199 Gaming says, Netflix Yahoo wanted me to pay you this earn $2. There ain't no way Netflix Yahoo told you to send me $2. He would have sent at least 50. Okay. Packy Proton says, hearing this Morgan religious talk crap makes me glad I'm an atheist. I'd love to see how many people would care about the Holy Land without it. Minister Vontae says, as a years-long Culver's fan, Butterburger equals bad. Packy Proton says, is this Matt Simpson Groening's, how do you say his name? I know he's a Simpsons guy. In the middle. Bearded Stormshed, I'm sorry. My Blaze membership led me to Crowder, and he led me to Quarter Black Garrett, who led me to Nerdrotic, who led me to D-Day Cobra. You led me to Beardo. How unfortunate. Damn, that's a fucking drop-off, man. Like, you were peaking right there. So, like, Blaze to Crowder, okay? And then QBG to Gary, you're, like, elevating. And then you take this massive drop to find D-Day Cobra. And I was like, fuck. Can't get any worse than this. Oh, but it can. So just when you think it can't get any worse, then all of a sudden, D-Day Cobra leads you to Beardo, and you're like, yeah, this is fucked. So pretty bad. Sorry, we're not good. CG says their argument is from a Catholic perspective is worthless to everybody who isn't Catholic. Seriously, no one cares who isn't Catholic. Tay says avoiding getting roasted tax. DVS Lord says Carrie is asked about a porn tape on Hannity a while ago and doesn't deny it. Really? I want to see it. Not the clip on Hannity. I'm not worried about the clip. I don't want to see the clip on Hannity. Just for research purposes, I'd like to let the audience know how good the video is. Jewish Ryan for $2 actually. Corey Wells says Trump is the alpha Chad. He does the bamboozling, not the other way around. Jimmy Ray says Jeremy has room temperature IQ. John says room temperature IQ tax. Graham Robbins says Jeremy has room temperature semen for his boyfriend. Heir to the Empire says room temperature IQ tax. Packet Protoss says, dear Team YouTube, help Jay out or he'll trip your Pooh Bear. Pat K says Jeremy has room temperature IQ, but only if the room is Celsius. Richard Simmons says Blue Oyster Bar, room IQ tax. Teresa says IQ less tax. Aaron Alexander says next thing he says, you're scanning people. Raymond Daniel says Q. Are you trying to make me say something there? I think you are. Jazz gifted membership. Thank you. John on YouTube becomes a new member and says IDOT room temperature IQ 199 scan in. Under Armour Gamer says Jerry has 45 IQ. The Daily Special says Jerry made me MAGA against my will. Send him more super so I can fund my appeal. I try my best. Fran Forsyth says, if MAGA is dead, then the USA fails to communism. TDS is what brings down the West. Nobody thinks beyond the next podcast view. Sad, really. That is a very, very good point, that nobody is thinking beyond the next podcast view. That is very well said. You are good at this tax. Well, thank you, T. Little. I appreciate that. Objectively, a cat says, Benji Kennel at BKG Post. Slain Hope says lost comments tax. Aaron Adams says people are going to feel so stupid when Trump comes out winning yet again, but Michael is right and the economy is not good. At the end, it will be on him. Agreed. Whiskey Niner says, why would Trump give a specific date when Iran can just wait till said date? That's stupid. I know, like, we're dealing with the dumbest people in the world. Like, why doesn't Trump just announce an end date? And it's like, that's not how any of this works, you idiots. My goodness, these people are stupid, man. Like, now, there's an interesting thing here, okay? You've got to see this, all right? You've got to see this. This is very, very interesting, okay? So right here, I was watching, and this is how things happen on the internet. I was watching Patrick Bet David. They were talking about all of this stuff going on in the Trump administration, okay? They're talking about all this crazy stuff, all right? And at one point, they're talking about J.D. Vance, okay? Tom brings up this quote from J.D. Vance, builds a completely false narrative around what J.D. Vance said. A complete false narrative. Now, Patrick Bet David said, I haven't heard that. Can somebody pull that clip up? This is amazing. This is an amazing moment to show you how manipulative people can be by falsely labeling something. Listen to this. Now, I don't have the exact timestamp, but again, so what they're talking about, they're theorizing that J.D. Vance is no longer within Trump's inner circle. That's what they're theorizing at. And they're saying, like, you know, Marco Rubio has his back, and maybe J.D. Vance is, you know, questioning the Iran operation, and maybe he's going to be able to say on the debate stage that I didn't support this because it's going to blow up. A lot of stupid theories, okay? But just listen.
Smart thing that he said last week. And yesterday, as I was reading this, I was like, oh, wow, that's why he's doing it. He's distancing himself, but he's not trashing the president
And look
publicly.
carefully at his path. Is he the legislative path or is he the leader-governor path?
He's the leader-governor path.
Talking about J.D. Vance right now.
JD? No, he's a legislative path.
What do you mean?
And,
and
when the legislators fight each other in election, they said, excuse me, I did not vote for that.
Yes.
That's the position. You see that?
Yeah,
that's a lot different from a governor who's got his butt on the line when there's a natural disaster and you have to show leadership and you have to make the call. Governors, says, are CEOs of states. The president, we have a leader right now that makes decisions. And JD sounds a little bit too much like a legislator politician.
This is all bullshit, what they're saying about JD Vance right now. This is all bullshit.
Now, hang on a second. My voting record is clear on that, and I didn't vote on that one.
Mm-hmm. Smart.
Yeah. Is this it, Rob?
Yes.
Go for it.
Oh, hang on then. Oh, so they're pulling up the clip now. All right. So I got to go back to when Tom was talking the first time. So hang on. So right here. Okay. Hang on.
Tom, I'm sorry. I haven't gone to Tom yet. Tom, your thoughts.
On this, I'll tell you what I think. You know how I parse things that get stated. You know, I like drive into the words When I know people are speaking carefully, I dive into the words.
Listen to this.
Over the weekend, I believe it was over the weekend. I think Rob has it somewhere. You know what JD Vance says when they asked him about something he talked to Trump about, Pat?
What?
He says, well, I don't have a comment on that. And he goes, I don't want to go to prison. That's not what you say. You know, when you're talking about the president and you're the VP, to me, when I hear things like that, even if you're just off the cuff,
this is completely misrepresenting the comment. I reacted to the comment that he's talking about. I reacted to that comment here on this show. But again, I want everybody to understand the framing of this shit.
Not what I believe it was over the weekend. I think Rob has it somewhere. You know what JD Vance says when they asked him about something he talked to Trump about, Pat?
What?
He says, well, I don't have a comment on that. And he goes, I don't want to go to prison. That's not what you say. You know, when you're talking about the president and you're the VP, to me, when I hear things like that, even if you're just off the cuff, even if you're just an open mic, even if it's just one, you know, it's like you're walking and then the press guy, you know what I mean? Pat comes up, puts a microphone in your face. One more thing. And he says, well, I'm not going to say anything about that. And he goes, why is that? And he goes, well, I don't want to go to prison. It's like, that's what JD Vance said. This is less than 72 hours ago. So it also, you know what that says to me? When you hear that, Pat, what do you think? Maybe a little bitter, maybe a little frustrated.
What? This is an insane narrative to be built. And my point of this, and we're going to play the rest of this, and we're going to play the actual clip. But my point being is that all of these major shows are doing everything they can to tell you things are terrible within the administration. They're all lying to you. All right. Now, to be fair, Patrick Bet David had not heard this comment. Once he hears the comment, he's like, that was a good comment. What are you talking about? Like, this is great. This is a crazy reach from Tom.
You're left out. You don't say that.
I haven't seen this. Is this the one Rob he's talking about?
Yes, sir.
Can you get to the point of you're going to go to, is it right off the bat he goes to you going to prison?
Could I say something about
That's a heavy thing to say.
Because I got to give credit where credit's due. So Van,
you see that?
Yeah,
that's a lot different from a governor who's got his butt on the line. He says our CEOs of states. He sounds a little bit too much like a legislator politician. Now, hang on a second. My voting record is clear on that, and I didn't.
We're
smart.
Yeah. Is this it, Rob?
Yes.
Go for it.
But imagine the situation. We're in the situation room where you can't even take your iPod in there, or your AirPods, I guess what they're called. You can't take your iPhone in there. You can't take anything in there because it is the most classified space anywhere in the world. And I sit there with Pete Hegseth and General Kane and Marco Rubio and the entire White House team. And the president and I and the entire senior team are talking about the options and about what we need to do and about how we must best protect the American people. I hate to disappoint you, but I'm not going to show up here and in front of God and everybody else tell you exactly what I said in that classified room, partially because I don't want to go to prison, and partially because I think it's important for the president of the United States to be able to talk to his advisors without those advisors running their mouth to the American media.
I thought it was actually a good answer. Yeah. No, I actually think that was a good answer. Listen, on one end, I was just criticizing, how it's going to hurt.
Now, I listen, okay. I get that maybe Patrick Bet David didn't want to throw his boy under the bus, but Tom deserved to be called the fuck out on that, bro. Like, that was completely insane how he framed that. He framed that terribly. And this is happening. And I think Valuetainment's a good channel, and I like these guys. But these guys, I think, are pretty level-headed for the most part, and I enjoy their stuff. But if it's happening on a show like this, imagine what level it's happening on all of these other networks and channels. Like, the way he framed that was absolutely fucking insane. And maybe Patrick Bet David called him out later on, but he doesn't right here. He kind of moves past it. And you realize Tom just shuts the fuck up, doesn't say anything. And I'm just sitting there going, where did you get this from? Because when he said it, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I reacted to that clip. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, we reacted to that clip. Unless there's another clip that I'm not aware of. I remember reacting to that clip because I did react to it couple days ago. And I remember when we reacted to it, everybody in the chat and me were like, hell yeah, JD, that's 48 right there. That's our vice president. And then he's sitting there going, yeah, he's throwing Trump under the bus. I'm like, what? What are you talking about, bro?
Heard him. I didn't think that was a bad answer. I think he gave the proper. See, that's the thing with JD. He is so good in giving the right answer in the right places. It's the reason why he's at 18.6%. 18.6 is still a lot, of course, to be that high. I just think right now with what's going on, is this, what's this, Rob? Is this an AI video?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. This is the AI. This is what they're claiming happened. Okay. I don't know if you've seen this video or not.
I have not.
This is an AI video saying that Trump played Tucker to take out the leaders of Iran. Now, again, keep in mind, guys,
Yeah,
they're making.
We talked about that. I wanted to show that clip though. There, JD, he is extremely good at answering tough questions in tough moments. And again, I will compliment him by saying that JD does a better job of pushing Trump's agenda to people that can easily understand what he's saying, whereas Trump is not good at that, to talking. When Trump is talking to people that don't like him, JD can articulate Trump's positions far better than Trump can in those situations. He's fantastic at it. And he should, he should always get credit for that. And in fact, we had another moment today. I hope the audio is good enough. But we had another moment today with JD. If I can find it, let's see. Is this it right here? Right here. So listen to JD right here. I hope the audio is not going to be too low for you right here. It's only a 20-second clip, but right here, this JD Vance politely shuts down a reporter trying to drive a wedge between him and President Trump over Iran. And the reporter says, so there's no hesitation given your past statements with the current operations. What do you mean? There's no hesitation with my past statements. Given your skepticism of foreign adventurism, you were a critic of the global war on terror previously. And then JD's answer is fucking perfect. Okay, here we go.
I mean, there's no hesitation with my past statements.
Given your skepticism of foreign adventurism, you were a critic of the global war on terror previously.
Well, I think one big difference, Phil, is that we have a smart president, whereas in the past we've had dumb presidents. And I trust President Trump to get the job done, to do a good job for the American people, and to make sure that the mistakes of the past aren't repeated. Absolutely.
Trump liked it too when he said it. He said we've had dumb presidents in the past. Trump was like, hell yeah.
Well, I think one big difference, Phil, is that we have a smart president, whereas in the past we've had dumb presidents. And I trust President Trump to get the job done, to do a good job for the American people, and to make sure that the mistakes of the past aren't repeated. Absolutely.
Yeah, so this narrative that JD and Trump are not on the same page, this is meant to divide a very, very well-oiled machine. These two guys are on the same page. There's no issues there whatsoever. And so anybody out there pushing this nonsense is they're just lying. They're just straight up lying. And it's pathetic. So, but I have been seeing a lot of that out there. A lot. Okay, let's see. Okay, where are we at? Oh, so if you go right here to Jay's tweet, by the way, go to his tweet, and this, I'm not going to show it because I don't want to get hit, but he said he was reacting to this video, and he was told that the you-know-whats are the reason he got the strike. So if you go to Twitter and watch this, this is why Jay got a strike. This is absolutely insane to watch that video, but you can go to his Twitter account and you'll see it. It's crazy. It's crazy that he got a strike for that. I cannot believe it. It's insane. Garbage. Mod Eric says, think of what California could have done with billions spent on bombing Iran. We could have made 0 more miles of the high-speed rail or housed literally hundreds of people. Not both. Stephen Strain says, no life tax. Mod Eric says, One Piece actress I don't know what her name is, demands ceasefire in Gaza despite ceasefire for the past 6 months. This was at the Oscars. And then I'm not even going to try to read all that shit that you just typed, Eric, about Jack and all that. So, Free J. Yes, Free J. There it is. Doug Diggs says Jeremy wants to say stuff be good tax. What it do? 199. Really? Was the Oscars yesterday? Yeah, apparently. And apparently Ben Stiller was hanging out in a Hollywood grocery store and nobody recognized him. By the way, not sure if you're aware of this, but we will have a panel at MegaCon. It will be me, Gary, Ripa, Drinker, and Ryan. That's a pretty good panel right there, I gotta say. I would show up to this panel. If you're telling me that this panel was the panel, I would show up to this panel, okay? This is a really good panel. So yeah, good stuff indeed right there. So do I have tattoos on my hand? The hell is that? Real life fake Gary. Yes, that's real life fake Gary. That's Tree Bear, of course. Tree Bear always handling that business. Good stuff from Tree Bear. I hope you guys will check us out over there. Six Fingers. That's right. Six Fingers. Ben Stiller has aged a lot since he was relevant. Yeah, he has. I mean, it happens to all of us. So, I mean, hell, I'm getting old. We're all getting old. So, I don't know. I don't know if I wonder, like, when people meet me, they still think that I'm younger than I am. But I think that I'm starting to look a little older than before. So like 5 years ago, I think I've aged a lot. I don't know. Maybe I haven't though, but I feel like I'm starting to show my age a little more now than I used to, but we'll see. Let me see. MegaCon says Shadow Rhymes. Yes, it's going to be awesome. So old. Yes, definitely old. He's old. He's bald. You look like you're 30. Have you met me in person though? I'm curious what I look like in person, you know, because I don't have the beauty filter on like I do right now. You know, like I have a beauty filter on right now. See, I got the beauty filter on. No, I actually don't. Let me turn the beauty filter on. Let's see here. Beauty filter. Boom. Boom. Look at there. Woo-hoo-hoo. No blemishes. Oh, wait, can't do that. Not unless I get super chats. Fuck that. No, you're not getting that. No. Let me turn that shit off. There we go. All right, turn that shit off. You don't get the beauty filter unless you super chat for it. I can't believe I gave that away for free. I can't believe I gave that away for free. Damn it. It's terrible. Donnie Danko says, you've seen the Olsen twins lately. They look like Jeremy now. That's not a good thing. I don't think that's a good thing. Damn, Jeremy sounding like DSP. Nah, not yet. Not yet. Jeremy is the third Olsen triplet. The quarter filter. Okay, here it is right here. So this is Ben Stiller. Nobody recognized him. Ben Stiller has a new soda out that he was promoting, and no one recognized him. That's not good. Oh man, an old lesbian. It reminds me. So like one thing that I will guarantee you I will never do. Okay. and I say this with all love and respect, all right? But I will just go back to retail, but like, I will never be like some old washed up wrestler sitting at a con and just like, you know, hoping to get somebody called for $5 and give an autograph or something. Yeah, I see that at cons all the time with like old wrestlers. I'm never going to be like that where I'm an old YouTuber and I'm just like at a con hoping one person that recognizes me from 10 years ago, maybe they'll come and give me like $5 for an autograph. Maybe. I don't want to do that ever. I know that like Ryan talked about, like, I'm going to be in 10 years from now, I'm going to be sitting at a Culver's and I'm going to be slamming my face with a Butterburger and I'm going to be about 100 pounds overweight. And there's going to be like some, 20-year-olds sitting at a table making jokes. And I'll be like looking over with my gut hanging out. And I'm like, you ever heard of the 199? I used to be somebody. Look up Geeks and Gamers on your YouTube. And they're all just going to get up and walk away. Like that fat guy's talking about 199. I don't know what he's talking about. God, getting old is terrible. I'm going to be that. Dude, I hope I'm done on YouTube in 10 years. Like, I don't want to be here so all of you can just call me old and ugly and wrinkly. Like, who wants that? Who wants that? My audience is going to be fucking mean as shit to me when I'm old and ugly and wrinkly. Got arthritis in my hands and I won't be able to fucking move the mouse. So I don't want to be here. I don't. I want to buy a ranch and I just want to be on a, give me 5 acres. Let me have a tractor. Let me have a 4-wheeler. I'll be happy, just that's all I want to do. Maybe I'll crowdfund that and I'll just fucking retire. So I just want to go away and never be heard from again. All right. So you don't want to be Carrie. Once a man. If you know that line right there. Once a man. Hang on. Where's your comment? If you know, you know. Who knows what that line is from? There it is. This will be me right here. Let me find it. I'll just find it for those of you that don't know what that is. Here we go. This is going to be me right here in 10 years. This is G.I. Joe, the movie, Cobra Commander. After Globulus basically turned him into a snake. And he finally goes complete. This is him in Roadblock. Here we go.
Useless. Oh, useless. I was a man. Yes. Oh, yes. I was a man. I was a man. Yes.
Stop saying that, you making me crazy.
Was a man. Men may rule. That sentence never was.
You're going snake house, man. You gotta resist.
Yes, was once a man.
Stop strangling me.
Good old Serpentor. I fucking love G.I. Joe, the movie, so much. I want to watch it. But yeah, so that'll be me. That'll be me in like 10 years. I'll be like, I was once a YouTuber. I was once a grifter. Do you know I finished #1 in the country in super chats? And all of these like 25-year-old like kids are going to be like, who the fuck is that fat guy? He smells like Butterburger and he just won't shut the fuck up about it being like 10 years and now you know what super chats are. I'm like, I was a I was number 1 in super chats a couple of times. Pretty big deal if I could say so myself. But Marmilla says, you won't go to the Baja and run for governor of Minnesota. I wish I could give you a Jesse Ventura impression, but I'm going to have to save that one for Mike tomorrow on Tuesday night's main event. So thank God Landis is out writing the new G.I. Joe movie. Correct. The Paramount apparently rejected Max Landis's G.I. Joe pitch, which they should have. Thank God that happened. TJ says, I like your filter. Your mole on your right cheek despawns and then spawns it back in because you aren't a real person. You are AI. I try my best. See if I got that. Got that one. All right. I think here in about 30 minutes, me and Jay are going to go live and play some video games over on my gaming channel, which I have not set the stream up yet for. So I guess I should do that really quickly, and then I can raid that channel. So give me just a minute. I'll set that stream up. And if you guys want to hang out with me and Jay, he's going to be streaming on his Rumble channel because he can't on YouTube. Because he can't stream on any of his channels because of his strike. So that's obviously a problem. Let's see here. So he will have to stream. Yeah, the fact that this is a bullshit strike, man, that he's dealing with. It's really frustrating. So, but yeah, so I'm going to hang out with him, and you guys can go support him on Rumble if you want. But yeah, 2 streams today, and I guess we're about to have a third one. And let me see where it's at. Okay, so if you guys want to hang out with me and Jay, be careful of ban evasion if you have him on your YouTube stream. No, it's fine. It's only he just can't stream on his own channels. He can stream on other channels that are not his, but he cannot stream on his own channel. So if he owns the channels on YouTube, he cannot stream on them. That's the rule. But in terms of him being on other channels, he can do that. It's just like Nick Fuentes can appear on other people's YouTube channels for like interviews and collaborations, but he can't have his own YouTube channel, or something like that. So just like Alex Jones can appear on Tim Pool's live stream, but Alex Jones can't have a YouTube channel. So, but anyway, thank you guys for hanging out. I really appreciate it. Again, programming note. This is going to be a crazy week for me because of what you're looking at on screen right there. So just make sure you understand. But Monday, I'll be back rocking and rolling. Now, I'm going to be live tomorrow before main event. I'm going to be live Wednesday during the day. I will not probably be live Wednesday evening unless it's very late. And then Thursday, which is my first day at MegaCon, I will probably be live late Thursday. It'll be very late. Friday, no stream on Friday for me, I don't think. If so, it'll be an earlier stream. And then Saturday, no stream. However, there will be a Geeks and Gamers streams, multiple Geeks and Gamers streams on Saturday. And then Sunday, we'll be kind of wrapping everything up. And then Monday, we'll be back to everything. So I will stream as much as I can, though, because I know there's going to be a lot of stuff happening, but it's going to be a crazy week and I'm going to be exhausted. So, okay. And then Jess says, me and ABF are getting in very early Wednesday morning. Let's freaking go. Okay, guys, if you want to hang out with us over there on D-Day Cobra Gaming, please do. Thank you all for the support. I'll see you guys in about 30 minutes. Have a good night. We'll talk to all of you later. Bye, everyone. Yes, there is an FNT this week, West for Smile. There is an FNT this week.